Glad to be here. I'm gonna have to get used to unmuting myself here. Hi everybody. I am Grubblethorn1, the creator of. Oh, good. Hey, R. Perry. Check your mailbox, R. Perry. You've got something headed your way. That's Coach. That's Coach J. Road. Yep. uh, it's good. Like subscriptions are great. We will yield to subscriptions. So yeah, I am Grubblethorn1. You find me on Blue Sky, Twitch, YouTube, basically all the normal places. You'll find a presence on X, but we're no longer posting on X because, yeah. I am the creator of Pendragon MTG. I've been playing Magic the Gathering since 1997. Almost all kitchen table stuff, never any tournament stuff. So I'm all about creative and silly builds, and that's part of why I came up with Pendragon. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hello, everyone. I'm Amanda. The internet knows me as Onion Bug. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Zoe. I'm one of the newer members on the Pendragon Rules Roundtable, and I'm very glad that I was brought in. This is a format that caught my eye really early on in its inception and development, and I love how open it is. It's really build your own commander. Whatever it is that I want to put together in the command zone, I feel like I can do, and it, and it's really exceptional. Brewing, which is one of my favorite parts of playing Commander, is so focused on in this format. And I love that even after a considerable amount of time, this format's been around, people still pop into our Discord and show us stuff that we've never even thought of before. It's terrific.
Hey there, I am Coach J. Rowe, the Unsummoned Skull. So I'm known mostly for bouncing things and for doing massive amounts of burn damage. And there's lots of different ways to figure out how to do that in this format. So I like that you can do pretty much what you want. You can build a lot of different ways, and you can use a given Excalibur in a lot of different ways, which I think is a cool little flexibility there. So that's one of the things that I was working on because I have OCD and I was working on my own little breakdown list of what each Excalibur does and how you can build around it, what it's looking for. So I do still need to finish that. I'm working on it. I write for Commander's Herald, used to write for EDA Trek. Yep. Yeah, And I've had more than 50 articles published in the last few years, even though I've only been active on. Oh, thank you. Yep, all my commanders are altered to be Pokemon, including now my Pendragon ones. Um, so that'll be, or those will be available to to see at MC Chicago. And I work on those with an artist named Fox Noctum.
How about now, chat? Can you hear me now? Oh, let's move over to Draco while we solve. Oh, yep, we're good. Let's move over to the Draco while we solve these audio issues.
Sorry, I was a bit long-winded there.
No, you're good. You're good. That was me trying to help me figure my stuff out. Great.
I am Drake Lucian anywhere over the socials. Pendragon RRT member, moderator through a couple of Discords. I am the problem at the table, and then I get taken care of. So, now
Last night, that was
frequently.
proven very well over.
Oh yeah. I am just an adamant brewer, so I ended up getting word of Pendragon pretty early on through Katie and them in the lobby pristine. Immediately went into seeing how much fun it is because I'm also a massive Artifact and Voltron player. And then, hey, legendary equipment in the command zone. Let's see what this is about. I am hyped. So, and that's where it's been since I've been enjoying Pendragon since then.
Absolutely. Let's head over to our last, not our last Rules Roundtable member. We do have two that were not able to be here tonight, but our last present Rules Roundtable committee. Alex, why don't you take that over?
Hi, my name is Alex, or Arnett Jonathan on all the socials, or Trivial Encounters. Just look on YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky. I've been playing Common Commander for quite a while now. I've been almost 3 years now, on and off playing Pauper Commander and stuff like that. So a lot of the ins and outs. Was approached by Grubble probably almost 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, talking about the format, and I knew a lot of a lot of combos and different pieces, and working. I do a lot of CPDH tournaments, which I'm kind of dying off that. I'm going to start some Pendragon tournaments hopefully soon.
Hell yeah.
But I enjoy playing Magic with friends and watching people do the thing. That's all I'm about. I enjoy having a fun, safe space, getting to see this how your mind ticks with the decks that everyone builds, and it makes me so happy. I'm usually the early problem, and I get snuffed out. 85% of the time, actually, when I look at my win rate.
Heck yeah.
But I love it. I love it so much, and that's the reason why I play the game is I get to. And the thing with Pendragon for me, because like I said, I play a lot of Pauper Commander. It really opens doors to how wild games can get. We saw that last night. And it's just things that I wouldn't have thought of, and then sometimes look at some of the legendary equipments and so what if you do this? And I'm working on one right now. I'm about to finish. That's one of those what ifs. What if I do this? And I promise you, there's over 5,000 different common creatures. I promise you will find something that you enjoy, or something that maybe you played when you were young, or something that's maybe I can build around this, and you will have a great time. And that's what we're here, and what we try to cultivate is a fun, safe space to enjoy this format along with everyone else. So really excited. So thank you so much for inviting me on as well. That's all for me. So let's go.
Thank you. And my video issues seem to be resolved, so we can dive on in. We're going to go in alphabetical order for these, and since my microphone and audio didn't seem to work on the first spiel, I'm going to give you another real quick rundown on how the format works. So there is an Arthur and an Excalibur in the command zone, who the Arthur is any common creature, and the Excalibur is any legendary equipment. You can use the group color identity of both of those together. They don't need to match to craft your 98, and it is basic commander from there on out. The 98 has to be all pauper as well, and their only key difference is that there's 30 life instead of 40. There's still 21 commander damage, and that's basically how it goes. It's been a great experience adding the. There aren't enough legendary equipments that there's like that are really powerful that there is a defined metagame yet. So that's kind of what we're here to do tonight is sort of define that metagame. So why don't we bring up that first equipment and everybody can get their little rankings up and we can all sort of start getting our tiers going. Our first one is going to be Ace's baseball bat. Does everybody want to show their rankings for Ace's baseball bat? 1 is the best, 4 is the worst. 4, we've got 2 4s. Does anybody not think this is a 4? You could do fingers if you want, J-Ro. All right, that's I also am going to be giving a good old 4. I think that is maybe the worst equipment that there is in the meta. Does anybody have any strong opinions on Ace's baseball bat? Oh, we see a 3 from J-Ro. Let's have J-Ro hop in here and defend his 3 instead of 4. What keeps this out of the trash tier?
The fact that it isn't the most expensive in terms of casting and equipping. There are legendary creatures that can be a thing, and adding 3 power is not that bad either.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think there are worse. I wouldn't say that it's straight up not good, not playable in any way.
All right. Okay. I think though our consensus we can maybe throw this into 4 though. We had pretty much everybody there. So let's throw our first one up there, Doc. Is it not working? Oh, and there it is. All right, so we're going to add to this as the stream goes on. All right, so let's head over to our next equipment. That's going to be one of the Andorils. This one is Flame of the West, which is the one that makes, not that makes bigger, but makes wider. There's sort of 2 Andorils. One of them goes wide, one of them goes tall. All right, so we want to all 3, 2, 1. Oh, this is a contentious one. Okay. Wait, just waking up. 2. We've got a lot of 2s. I am high on it, and J-Ro's low on it. Oh, you're going up to 2? All right, all right.
I was always a 2.
Oh, sorry, I missed. I'm a little far from the screen, so it's a little hard for me to see with my terrible vision. All right.
All right, I was using an infinite token, but I was taking too long to write.
Yeah. I guess I'm the one that needs to defend here. So I think you're wrong. I think the fact that this can go super wide very quickly, there are enough common commanders, and that is a very powerful strategy in a format where there is very little in terms of board wipes. Though at tier 1 you will see board wipes, but not from every single deck. White struggles with it, green struggles with it, and those are 2 very, very popular colors in this format. It does have weaknesses. I will cede that. The weaknesses, in my opinion, are 1, it's colorless, right? So anybody want to rebut that?
Requires attacking, doesn't give any evasion.
Yep, definitely doesn't give any evasion. I would definitely say that The
Can't hear you,
white
Zoe.
spirits, the white spirits that
Here.
yeah, Zoe, you went blank again.
Yeah, you went blank. Still can't hear you.
Sorry,
Okay.
I'm here.
Good.
I am. When that happens, I am trying to talk to my tech director. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Sorry.
They can't see that. Only you can.
Oh yeah, we're looking at two screens here.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Still working the kinks out.
So yeah, I would say it's definitely very strong. The fact that the two white spirits that you're dropping in, unless you have attached it to one of the few legendary creatures that we actually have, those spirits are coming in tapped, but they're not coming in attacking. And so I think we lose a little bit of strength there because we don't get blockers until later. You have to wait for a turn to come around to get those turned into blockers, or to get those to do the damage. So that's why I brought mine down to 2 rather than 1.
Yeah, let's throw it into 2.
So, yeah. So
No,
same thing.
Go ahead and your reasoning.
Okay. Same thing. It's because they come in tapped. So it sets you up for like waiting a whole turn to even try to even put up some defenses if you need to, and you're susceptible to artifact removal, and about every color has it. So in tier 1, I mean, like especially if I see it as it's going to be a problem depending on what you pair it with, I'm going to try to remove it.
Absolutely. All right. Let's go to the next one. Alex, don't you take care of that. Let me take care of that. Thank you, Cooper. All right, so the next one is the next Anduril. It is the tall one that throws +1/+1 counters on that. I think we want a 3, 2, 1. I have this one in 1 as well. Okay, I'm going to throw to Amanda on this one because I think this one and the other one are very similar, and she did not rank them the same, and everybody else ranked them the same as the last one. So, Amanda, why is this one better than the last one?
This one packs a real punch.
Yeah, for sure.
It comes out early. Equip cost is low. The fact that it's putting +1/+1 creatures on your entire force, this turns like a small rebel into an army in a turn or two. It swings games incredibly fast, and also like once you've achieved the city's blessing, it's something that's going to stick with you for the course of the rest of the game. Even if the equipment is removed, the blessing is going to stick with you.
Yeah, that's a real gross part about it.
It's the fact that once it hits the board, it can essentially leave you with like a permanent boost in power. Coupled with what it does to your forces on the ground, like it's wild. It turns games around real quick.
I'm gonna just throw this out there, chat. If you have a bunch of heir apparents, that one can get pretty gross with the heir apparents.
Go up.
Up.
Yeah. Come here. The 1.
All right. So we have 3 1s and 3 2s. I'm gonna put the deciding vote on Draco.
I moved mine up to 1 as well.
Oh, we have the other. You sticking it at 1 or 2, guys? That puts us at 4, right? All right. Let's.
My rebuttal is the ascend because I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah.
And once I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that kind of really synergizes with strategy. So I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay." I never haven't get to really play with the cards, so that's why I was like, "Oh, okay."
1.5 is probably more likely where it ends up, but I have a thing about half tiers. All right, so our next card, or our next placement. Sorry. All right, that's where we are right now. We've got 1 in every tier except tier 3. So I wonder what our first tier 3 equip's going to be. Let's head over to the next one and find out. Bilbo's Ring. Bilbo's Ring's an interesting card. I don't know if it's a good card, but I have not. This is one of the ones that I haven't tried yet. Has anybody built this and want to say anything about it? Yeah, Draco, tell me about it.
I think I might do this after we get everybody's numbers.
Sure. Let me just make sure I remember where I put this because I'm pretty sure I put it in a pretty broad one. Yeah, all right. I'm ready. Two. 1, 2. All right. Draco, having played it, why is it in 3?
Evasion. Like, it's not as ubiquitously as good as some of the other equipments that we have. But this is
Chat doesn't like this one.
the higher equipment cost or equipping cost, unless you're playing a very specific build around for the equip. But the evasion and card draw with the hexproof and just it's a very build around equipment.
Yeah.
It has its perks and things of that sort. I don't think it's something that can just be slammed into most decks like some of the higher tier ones. Like this one takes a very specific, not build path, but a very specific type of deck build to be keeping it out of the very, very bottom,
All right.
basically.
So if you do build it correctly, I feel like Amanda's about to tell us why she thinks if you do build it correctly. No?
Mhm.
You said 2.
No, you're right. I did fully. I think I think the ring is really good. I think it has a few shortcomings that keep it out of top tier play. In Pendragon, we have every common creature at our disposal, whether we're putting that in the command zone or we're putting that in the 98 of our deck. So, looking for really interesting creatures, one of the things that you're going to find out is when they have ETB effects or any other sort of static effect, you're bringing power to the board. There are a lot of really good common creatures that have whenever it attacks or whenever it deals combat damage type effects. And Bilbo's Ring lets you stack your deck with as many of them as you want and guarantee that they're going to get through. It's also card draw in the command zone. And card advantage does win a lot of games. It may be a little pricey to equip it at 4 versus the 1 because I don't think too many people are going to pair it with a halfling. Although if you can pull it off, good job.
There are some good ones.
There are a few good, decent halflings at
playable
common.
ones. Yeah.
And
Right.
changelings.
Yeah. Also, a lot of
Changelings do work in a pinch as well. But even at equip 4, the benefits that it's giving, card draw upon attack, the fact that you've got hexproof, it cannot be blocked. Depending on what you strap that on, turn after turn after turn, you're just accruing value.
And worth noting that Kiln Fiend exists.
Yeah, that is a good point. Maybe I have this too low.
There's a good number of creatures where just being unblockable is a big deal.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep mine at 3, but I am going to make a solid effort to build a list with this in it and maybe give it a real shot. So maybe I'll reevaluate that down the line. But for now, let's go ahead and throw that into 3.
I just pulled it out of a deck, actually.
Nice. 3 was pretty much the consensus, I think, right? Yep, it was. Let's go on to the next card. What's our next? Oh, that puts us 1 in everything. By the way, that puts us 1 in everything. I didn't plan that. It just worked out really well.
The immediate spread.
Yeah, it gives us another Bitterhorn is and this is Animus, is a living weapon creature. Our first creature that, or Excalibur, that comes out as a creature. There are a couple of these, not just living weapons. It's important to note the germ does not do commander damage.
Yep.
The effect still works, but Bitterhorn itself being equipped to the thing that deals damage does not deal commander damage in Pendragon. That is what you're. If you have played any pilot, that is how pilot works, but it's not how it works here. However, if you can animate that said Bitterhorn with Ensoul Artifact or anything like that, and then it deals damage, then it would count. But the difference is the card itself has to be the thing dealing the damage. All right, so this one I feel is pretty good. Are we ready to show us some? 3, 2, 1. We've got a consensus on 2 with Amanda on a 3, thinking it's a little bit worse. I am right. I'll be honest. I'm right on the border between 2 and 3. So I know Alex too. I know why you're feeling 3, Amanda. There are better cards than this. The effect is good though. That's my reasoning for bumping it up from 3 to 2. Feel free to hop in.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And in say a landfall list, this and maybe another equipment in the format will really do a lot of work for you. At the end of the day, though, the casting cost and equip cost of 3 slows this one down to the point where the ramp is way less beneficial because you're not getting this thing online until you're at 6 mana anyways. I feel like it's just this much it needs that much more speed in order to actually make it above tier 3. But
I'm with you. I'm bumping it down to 3. And here's
can I make a rebuttal?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll say mine after.
Okay, so we're saying that it costs 3 and then it's equip cost of 3, but it comes out on a creature already equipped immediately, so it's ready to go next turn. So it's still doing its thing unless you have to equip it to your commander. It's pretty much ready to go. I mean, obviously it doesn't have haste, that would make it even stronger, but unless you have to have it on your commander, you're going to get that effect next turn. I mean, it's right there.
All right, here's why I'm like right on the border considering bumping down to 3. If you're running ramp, one, it's just better to run it on the creature than the Excalibur. You're missing out on there are so many common creatures in color that ramp, like Llanowar Elf. I would rather run Llanowar Elf if I'm running it ramp in the command zone. It's not to dive like too much into the other side of the command zone, but there's so many creatures that ramp, and the power you get out of the Excalibur, the power that you can get by adding color, and it doesn't give any. I don't know. I think it's hard for me to bump it all the way down to the 3 because the effect is so good, but there are just so many other things that you can do in that slot. That's like why I'm sort of like on the edge there. Can everybody give me their numbers again? Yeah, go ahead. Jump in, Alex.
Mid-range perspective, I'm on 2, but like the 30 and the 3 kind of, it's like teeters me. But at a mid-range perspective, this can really get you out of the gates pretty quickly. Mab saying, Brando, big white, just mono white, just coming in, and like it has to have an interesting build around, but you have to play toolkitty. So it still teeters on that. I have to build around it. And that's it's put me on that line because of the 6 and this, like I was like, okay, so you have to really build around this to make it work.
I actually have the opposite perspective as Mab. So Mab's talking about ramping in colors that don't have it, but this also helps fix your colors in decks that need it.
Yeah.
You don't have to have your colors fixed in order to get it, so 3 mana, any color. So let's say that you're playing like a 3-color deck. because there are 3-color commanders in this format. You can use that to help fix your mana, and in a format that's 10 life less than commander, sometimes you need to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially given if you want to go a 4-color build, the fixing isn't great. Or do we have a 5-color commoner, Arthur?
Yes.
We do, right?
Dragon Soul Knight?
Why couldn't I
Dragon Soul
find
Knight.
it when I was looking? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Because it's technically not 5 colors in the cost, it's 5 colors in the ability.
Yes.
Oh, that's why I couldn't
It-
find it.
Still
Okay.
not.
Yeah.
A red
Yep.
3-drop, I think 3 or 4 drop, and that has
Mhm.
a Wooburg ability in it to turn into a 4/4 5/5 dragon.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the one. That would be great with this, if we're talking like just like an example of this card's possible benefits and the ability it gives you to hit the ramp running out of the Excalibur zone.
So it's not just a thing you can throw anywhere, but if you're running pretty much any combination of 2 or more colors that don't typically ramp, or 3 or more colors in general, it's a good thing.
Yeah. I agree. I
It's
think
one mid-range
think
perspective for me. It's
ceiling-
like, oh,
Yeah.
it's good.
ceiling
It's good.
it's a 2 for sure. I think we were all at 2 or 3, right? How many at 3? Just Amanda and maybe me. All right, let's throw this at 2 and move on to the next one. We spent a kind of a bit of time this one. I would say this is our first contentious one, or maybe I just am really wishy-washy on it. I do like the card a lot. Plus, it has Nissa in the name, so it sort of does that for me. I'm a big Nissa fan. Nissa who shakes the world. And that
Nissa who
app where
shakes
after
it.
10 I can
That's
suck
right.
it. Yeah, hella gay, super gay. All right, next up, Black Blade Reforged. I before we rank this, chat, you might have noticed one of the people in here is kind of There you go. Grubble's background is this one, so I have a feeling Grubble's gonna rank this higher, and I'm gonna throw to him first. But real quick, where are we putting this one? 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. All right, Grubble. Why is it a 3? Oh,
Okay,
there we go.
so you can hear me now. Okay, so yeah, I put it up as my background because it looks good.
Fair.
So I love the card. As a matter of fact, Gavin Verhey slaughtered us with Alex's build of this with is it Bitterthorn Drake, or
Nice.
I forget what the
Yeah, Thorn Drake, yes.
yeah, and so it can be very very potent, especially once you get your lands out. But it's a 2-drop. It hits early, but and once again, if you're unless you're dropping a legendary creature, one of the ones that we do have some legendary. But if you're not playing one of those, you're having to do an equip cost of 7. Now, once you get that equip cost of 7, you've already got at least 7 lands, so you're going to smack somebody pretty hard. But it also is really telegraphed because it's like, okay, they've got their 7 lands, they're going to be able to hit that equip. It's going to get blown up. So it's one of those ones where it's like, if left alone, heck yeah, it's gonna murder. But it's got some fundamental issues at this particular in this particular format.
This is another one I have right on the border of 2 and 3. I think this is a ramp card. Obviously, this is a huge ramp payoff. I think if you build around it, if you do things to make things legendary, there are a few things that you can do to do that, but it can be better. But there's also, this is just a white card. You want to use this with things that auto equip. There are a lot of equipment like equip target thing to target thing. So when you say like build around, yes, 100%, you have to on this one, which is why I wouldn't put it in 1, like even consider it as part of the metagame. But I do think the ceiling on this card, if you build specifically for it, can be very potent in either a ramp shell or a auto-equip shell with a Celestia champion and ramp. I think its ceiling is good, but I think it is not. When you look at it, it looks worse than because oh, I am supposed to be building this as a legendary thing. So it doesn't do what you want it to do as well as it is printed to do, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Also,
to do it justice too, in a format where commander damage it not only is viable but is often the way you win, this it does have its potentials. Like it definitely has that ability to be the serious threat on the board, and if you do it right, could be very quickly as well.
Mm-hmm. That's
Combat
how you lose a game
tricks.
with 69
Yeah.
trillion life.
Yeah. Combat tricks. There's so much like the package I put together was just cantrips, draw, ramp, combat tricks. And it can snowball so fast. And then you're looking around while everyone else is going, and you're like, oh, here comes a 2020 coming at me.
Mm-hmm. I think we had J-Ro, were you a 3 or 2? 2? Okay. We had a consensus on this one then. With 4 2s. So I think we're going to throw this one into 2 for now. But this is another one I'm going to be making a note of to like 2.5 if we had if we had another tier. In between tiers are if you're ever making a your own chat stream and doing this. In between tiers are bait. Definitely do that. Talk about it. Our next Oh, okay. This is going to be a quick one. Let's head over to our next one. It's Caduceus, Staff of Hermes. 3, 2, 1. Yeah? Does anybody not think this is Oh, J-Ro. All right. Why is this tier 2 and not tier 1, J-Ro?
Draco.
Fuck. Your names need to not rhyme. It's killing
No,
me.
I meant both of them said 2.
Oh, they both said 2. My goddamn eyesight, chat. Like, does she need glasses? She does need glasses, and then some. I'm like blind. All right, let's do J-Ro and then Draco on why this is not a 1.
Okay. So for me, it's because so it gives life. So unless you have the condition met, it gives lifelink, and that's it. If you don't have the condition met, it does pretty much nothing. And the casting cost and the equip cost being 3 white are fairly prohibitive. White is not very good at mixing with other colors unless you happen to be playing green. So to me, it's cost prohibitive. It's requiring you to have a certain condition met. Granted, the condition is met, or it does feed the condition, and the condition is met unless, people actually pay attention to the rules of the format.
Yeah. All right. My one rebut to that is you said it doesn't do anything unless the condition is met. I do think it does one thing without meeting the condition, and that's give you white color identity. But that's not like there's other cards that do that.
So to me, to get to a 1, it needs to be generically useful. So you need to play it with anything, and if you already are in the white identity, that doesn't help you.
Fair. You wanna?
And if you're in
do you have anything to
colors,
add, Drake?
white doesn't help you either.
Yeah, true.
Biggest portion of this because of how I play, like I'm not going to let you go unscathed. Like I am going to have a hard target on you when
If
you're
you have
playing
that
Caduceus.
card. Okay.
Yeah, if that's in the command zone, I'm not letting you keep 30 life.
For sure.
At all.
It adds. It's a great point. It absolutely puts like everybody else in the pod wants you to stay under this number. So when you get over it, you need to you have to do whatever. You better win that turn or do something that does like Crypt Rats isn't very. So chat. the squeamish don't think about this too hard. Crypt Rats does so much damage and life gain with this card. That's the
Oh, yeah.
reason that I put this at number 1, is because I think that is one of the strongest decks out there.
Same.
But
So
that wasn't what we
number
were
1
told
ceiling
to
is where I rank
them
mine.
based on.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why we do these
Mm-hmm.
roundtable rankings, is because like everybody's got their different why things fall where, and you should hear it. You should hear everybody's different thoughts and reasonings, and then make the decision on your own. Any other thoughts on Caduceus before we?
Yeah, I would like to point out that we have definitely found in this format that life gain is one of the most dangerous
Yes.
abilities.
I don't know what you're
Uh,
talking about.
because-
I've never tried that.
And
Multiple
so-
times.
And there's so much life gain available at the common level. I mean, your soul sisters are there right off the bat. So it has a lot of potential, and there's a lot of early life gain drops that hit, turn 1, 2, 3. So you're going to be real quick on the curve with this. And then once you get rolling, if people can't bring your life back down and they can't get through, like if you go wide and you can't get through to get in that commander damage, this thing can be absolutely brutal.
Yeah. I want to
That's
give
what-
one quick shout out to chat. Really good point from JJ Mickey here. This could be a Crypt Rats is a tier 1 Arthur situation, and not a Caduceus is a tier 1 Excalibur situation. I'm willing to see
And it
that a
is.
little bit on that.
And it is, because I've seen other Crypt Rat decks with different
Sword of
Excalibur
the
that are
Realms?
Sword of the Realms.
How
that
do
are
you make
just
the-
as terrible.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out in white, because there's so many auto equip cards, it does give that feeling of like you want to also build around that. Well, with the point that J-Ro makes, it actually will bring me down a tier because it's really conditional. You got to have those cards in hand, even playing a comp deck. If you don't have the right setup, it will hurt a lot, and it is limited. I'd like to see more data on it.
Okay, congratulations, everybody.
It's like I'm
You have
teetering. Like,
shaken my faith in this card.
yeah.
Tier 1.5.
Same.
I'm still saying tier
Let's see
1.
more data.
Just because I faced that deck and I hated it. But I'm pretty liberal with my rankings. I've thrown a couple into one that you guys have not agreed with. But did we have enough 2s to drop it to 2? No, right? It was 2 2s.
It was tied.
Oh, it was tied. Okay.
Me, J-Ro, and Al said he moved it down.
Okay. Is anybody willing to cross the Rubicon? I'm doing it. 2. 2 because JJ Mickey
It's
convinced
hard.
me.
I need more data. Like it's like I was like, I only played against it one time, and that's the problem. And like, I just need to see it more.
I like the.
I
My
also
issue with putting it as a
begrudgingly
1.
dropped.
Hell yeah. My issue with putting it as a 1 is I can't judge an Excalibur just based off of one card, one deck.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair.
My rationale for it, partially, and I think that a lot of people made a really good point to say that, like, one of the things that we're doing with the ranking here is, like, viability. Like, is this something that you're going to pair with any commander, put it in the zone, it's going to do work for you? Yes. Also, people do enjoy competitive formats, and there is a lot of talk about, like, Sea Dragon in our Discord, and people trying to, like, competitively push this format forward. So when I was doing my rankings, I was also taking that into accord, and right now, Crypt Rats Caduceus is way up there on the top tier. It is a meta deck. It is defining the competitive Pendragon realm right now. So for the moment, putting it at 1 for me was a no-brainer, because I've seen what the deck can do, and I know that it puts up numbers as far as actual competition. We do need more data on that.
Yes,
but
that's
right
makes it so
at
hard
this
for me.
moment in time, it is dominating.
It is.
I ended up moving it up onto the 2 rank because of the Crypt Rat. Like, I know of the deck, and that's what made me put it as a 2, as compared to I probably would have actually put it as a 3 beforehand.
In
So
my initial ranking, I did have it as a 3, and then I faced that
First
Griprak
glance,
deck.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
only played against it once, so that's the thing. Is like it's just I like to see it more, and maybe we're starting doing some tournaments and stuff like that and get some more data.
let's put this one in 2, and head over to that next one. But
Two is safe. Two is
while
safe.
we're doing that, this one was definitely the most contentious one so far. So don't let the fact that it is currently in 2, make you sleep on that Crypt Rats Caduceus Staff deck. That's all I'm trying to say. It is a good. It's a good deck, and kind of what I was going for was that whole build around it to get higher. All right, this one should. I don't think any of us are really gonna argue about this one. 3, 2, 1. It's on the lower side, right? Anybody putting this higher than 3? Yeah, we've got 2 4s and 4 3s. Oh no, 3 and 3. Tier 3.5. Okay. Who has it? Let's Grubble. Why is this a bad card?
Well, it really does fall in that 3.5 category. It's you're gonna drop it for 3, equip it for 4. You're unless again we're real contingent on that legendary creature. There are ways, and don't get me wrong, I've said this several times that it depends on legendary. We do have legendaries in the format. We do have ways to make things legendary with the ring temps, the temps you mechanic, which by the way is a lot of fun if you decide to start getting into that. But it is very conditional for you to get that monarch, and unless you're popping your commander in and out, and it is a legendary, not going to continue to repeat that monarch unless you're jumping in for the combat damage. But I do love the equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control. But again, that's very conditional. You'd have to throw it. You want to throw it on something that's got evasion. So if you're not building around that specifically, you could definitely do a build around for it, but it's just not. It just doesn't jump out to me as that powerful.
I'm gonna push us along here because we're taking a little bit. We did get into it with some of these already, and I just don't think it's worth talking about this one that much. So I'm gonna cross the Rubicon and say fine, we can make this a 3, and move on to the more interesting some more interesting cards, because we are an hour in and we're like 10 cards in, and there are 47 of these. So
it's fine. We have
I
nothing
was
better
like
to do.
breaking the time down in my head, and I was like, we can do this in 2 hours.
Oh, I knew that wasn't happening.
Zoe, you never stop talking. How do you think you're going to get this done in 2 hours? All right, next card. This is one that I really like. Let's talk about this one. Dracnien. Dracnien? I'm not a Warhammer? Is this from Warhammer, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that symbol's the word. Yeah. So, big ass Warhammer sword. It's fucking sweet looking, and it gives you Rakdos identity. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's all. I can't read yours. Thank you. 3, 3, 3, 2. Okay. I said 1 because I put pretty much all the 2 and 3 and 4 color legendary swords in there into tier 1 because color identity I rank very highly. Also, this one does something when you play it, which is good compared to the other black red giver of this, which is not as good. Let's hear the 3s. Let's go Grubble first. Calling on you twice.
If you want to slow things down, you got to stop calling on me because I can run my yapper. All right. It's 6. It costs 6, and then 2 to equip.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, when you drop it, you're able to exile, and it's exile up to 1 target creature. It doesn't have to be your own. Like you can tag somebody else's, but unless you're building it around other people's decks, it's gonna be random as to what size it's gonna be. So someone may have a really powerful commander, but it may be really low powered, and so you're not going to get that much of a boost from that. But if you're building it around your own deck, where you're like, you're going to have big
Absolutely,
monster
Draco.
creatures, you're going to have something heavy to swing with, then I would say it's a little bit stronger. But it with the equip costs and the casting costs being that high, it doesn't jump out to me as super strong. It definitely doesn't feel like a one to me.
Let's throw to Amanda.
Immediate dip into Rakdos, just by putting this in the command zone, is good. There's not a lot of equipments that are going to give you multiple colors, which I do rank pretty highly. It's removal in the command zone, and regardless of what the size that bonus to power is, at an equip 2, once you've powered it up, it equips to whatever creature you want pretty fast without too much detriment.
Low cost for sure.
I have seen this in games where it would be beneficial for the person, for the opponent to remove this. However, it would also not be beneficial, because then it goes back to the command zone and they can cast it again and they're going to lose another creature. And the fact that you have to do that much mental chess when you're facing this card, I think is something that does push it a little bit higher competitively, and why I
What's your
said
number
2.
again? 2? All right,
Two.
let's go. Last comment on Dracnian to, Jero.
I initially gave it a 3. More I think about it, I'm gonna drop it down to a 4.
Cost 6 mana.
No, it's because adding red and black seems good, but you're adding colors that add premium removal. So to me, that argument of putting removal in the command zone is even worse.
That's an interesting viewpoint. I hadn't considered that. Your argument is that it becomes redundant, right? Essentially, when you add red and black, since the premium removals in those colors cost 1 and 2 mana, you get your Vendettas, and you get your Ghastly Demise is a 1 mana
Feed
one.
the Swarm.
Open the Throat, Feed the Swarm. All those are 2 and 1 mana. So if you're running those, do you really need this in the command zone as a removal card? That's a definitely very good question. I lost track of the averages, and we're very far apart on this one. I had a 1, a 2, a 4, a 3, a 2, and a 3. This is the most controversial one so far. I think, is it... okay, I think we put it at 3? Or, no, we put it at 2, right? Because we have 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom. 3, 2...
Yeah, to me, it's the difference between you have to work hard to make it good and you have to work hard to make it even mediocre.
Okay.
I'm with Grubble, and that's very situational. So that's what makes put it at a 3 in the right deck. It can turn.
All right.
Let's just put it in a 3.
Let's settle this at a 3 for now, but this is another one that I think is going to warrant some more data. I want to test Jero's. Is this a like redundant removal card? So I'm going to build a deck with it and see if it's put that into our test. We have it at 3. All right, let's go to our next card. Take a look at chat. How's everybody doing?
Oh my gosh, Cooper.
That's good. That's good. All right. Our next one is Dragon Throne of Tarkir. I keep seeing people try and make this card good.
Oh, it's
3, 2, 1. 2, 1, 1, 3, 3. So we've got 3 2s, 2 3s, and a 1. Amanda, why is this a tier 1 deck? What meta deck does this crush in?
I mean, take it with a grain of sand for me, which I say specifically because of the deck that I put it in. It's kind of a pet card for me. Also, it can really wreck house.
Big
It's
number. Very big number.
It's incredibly potent, especially in the right deck. If someone said this is a 2, I would not argue. So I do put that stipulation out there.
Okay.
I say 1 because I'm giving an honest opinion based on how I feel.
And
It's a pet deck for me. The deck I have it in, I love, and it hammers nails.
I don't know who posted that deck in the Pendragon Discord where they had them keep untapping and retapping it over and over again, but I was playtesting that deck, and it can do some really silly stuff. I don't know if it's like super strong because it was very mana intensive, but when it high rolls, whew.
I hope to inspire that by talking about it with Twiddle.
Oh yes, excellent. Twiddle is an evil card, but yeah, it's blue.
I used to play Twiddle Storm.
We're not getting there. We're not going there. I lost to that too many times in the 90s, or early 2000s, I guess it was. I think we ended up basically with this one at a in between a 2 and a 3, right?
Yeah, I'm moving it up to a 2.
All right, let's throw it at 2. I think this is this solidly can be
Solid card.
a meta deck if you build it right. So, like, I think next to Caduceus is probably where it belongs. So 2 is probably pretty good.
I'm gonna channel Katie because she would hit me in the head for marking it as a 3, but Katie's got a version of this that is just absolutely like brutal. I mean,
if you're wanting this,
she would be here voting for it at a
it's a 2
guaranteed.
I had it at 3 and had forgotten about the couple of decks that I played it against. One being Katie's, the other one is being a brew that I saw Mab do with it. So Katie's was Quandrix Pledge Mage was Slime Against Humanity.
Gross.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
gross.
Disgusting. It is. You should be beat by it like we all have.
Sticky.
It's great. I sent, was it 9 to Katie? I was like, here you go.
Mm-hmm. And I had forgotten about some of that when I was initially ranking, which is why I'm immediately like, no argument.
Excalibur. It almost pushes 1 because I've seen some crazy freaking decks with it.
All
like
right.
I'm on the fence. I'm really on the fence with this one because it's like, do I think comp tier here? So
I would love to see somebody do an elf ball with Dragon Throne because I think that you could get.
I think I could do that. All right, this next one is going to be. We're gonna have some arguments here, I'm sure, because I know some of you like this card, and this is a bad card. This is a tier 3 card.
It's not 1. It's not a 1 for me. I'll tell you that much.
Show me your rankings, guys. Let them fly.
Yes.
2, 2, 3. Actually, that was a lot closer than I thought it was gonna be. I mean, it's not the worst. It is a functional card that does something for very cheap. My reasoning on why I don't think this card is as good as a lot of people. I see this thing in the Discord way too much. Keywords are just not that good, okay? They're just not. Who cares if you give a bunch of keywords to a common creature? They don't do anything.
Now, another warning for
please.
another warning for the folks that this is. I'm actually gonna give you some fire here. If someone blows up Eater of Virtue, all of those keywords that you tag to it go away. So it does fall to removal very hard. So it's if you get a bunch of keywords, and I would disagree that keywords are bad. But
strike.
But yeah,
fine.
but someone blows it up, you got trouble.
Trample, lifelink, the green ones.
Death touch and trample.
definitely.
My only defense of the card would be that there actually is in regular Pauper, there actually is an equipment that costs 1, equips 1, gives +2/+0, and is actually fairly well regarded.
Okay. If your argument is this is a bone splitter, I'm behind. I'm
Yeah.
now behind you. If you were forget the keywords, I'm using this because it's a bone splitter I can use in the command zone. I'm now like, yes, okay, fine, tier 2. Because bone splitter is awesome. It's a good card. The rest of the text
enough.
I don't think it's comp tier. You all have all seen my knights deck, and it's like, well, look at all these knights with all these different keywords. But it makes it wild. It's a goofy deck. I like it. I enjoy playing it. But like, it's I don't see it. It's a solid Excalibur, but not comp tier. It's teeters from 2 to 3 for me.
All right.
But the way I enjoy it, I think it's a pick card for me. Yeah.
Throw her into 2. We'll keep
Wow.
Bone Splitter with upside. Bone Splitter with upside is changing my entire view on this card. I was way too keyed in on this. Who cares about keywords? I'm not going to kill anything it's equipped to if it's good. I'm not letting you pass that on. Plus, what has double strike?
Unblockable, flying,
What has
lively.
double strike? The commander that I have it paired with.
Yeah, but okay. So here's the thing. I'm pretty sure we're coming up to it. What's up next? No, we're not up to it yet. But there is one that I would rather pair things with double strike, and I'll let you know what that is. But for now, we have. I don't think this card is very good, but I don't think it's bad. Where are we saying, everybody? 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Oh! Consensus! Yes! This is our first one. I was waiting for this. This is the definition of a 3. It costs too much to do anything good. However, it makes a huge dude. Like, undoubtedly, the other side of that card is enormous.
I have this with an elf deck, and it's hilarious because I'll still cast it 3 or 4 different times.
Who was using it?
And it's still a 3. Oh, that's mine, for sure.
No, someone was using your deck. That it wasn't you, though. Who did you give it to? Who was that?
Oh, no, that was me playing it.
No, not when I faced it. Was it Hobbs?
Oh, really?
Maybe? I don't know. Somebody was facing it with your...
Commander.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like this card alright in terms of cards, but...
Situational for me.
In terms of Excaliburs, I'm not using it as my Excalibur. I think there are just better cards. At least it adds black color identity. That's like... It does that immediately. But
I have it as a 3 simply because I have the deck built. That's it.
3. Yeah. That's a good reason. It does a unique thing that keeps it from a 4. Yeah. Agreed. 3 for fun. It doesn't.
Color demon.
Its upside isn't it destroys one thing from one set.
I'm just imagining somebody making like the what was it the meme with the this is useless. It's me holding Drachnian.
Yep.
All right, let's head over to this next card, which is one of my moderator's favorite cards.
Uh-oh.
It is not. She hates this card. Embercleave, though, in this setting, not the best card in the game, but I mean, it does what it does, and we've got a couple of ones coming out. Amanda, break the tie. 2. All right. So, Alex, why is this a 2?
It's solid, especially rather than a 1. It's a solid. You get it out early. This can change the dynamic of the game, especially what it's paired with. I think the card has a lot of potential in the right setting, but it still teeters on the it's like, how can this be consistent? Can you do this all the time? kind of situation for me. The card is amazing. I love the card since it's been and like it's one of my favorite equipments. But it's one of those things that I cannot consistently do this all the time with this deck to make a turn.
Here's my
Uh,
at least from what I'm thinking, based off of what you're saying. One thing where I love this card. It is a strong card. Its strength is that it comes from the hand and nobody sees it coming. If you put it in the command zone, it loses all of that. Everybody knows it's always there. That being said, it gives red color identity. It infinitely reduces its own cost, meaning it can always cost 2 red no matter how much tax you pump into it, because it can reduce its own taxes. And then when it comes out, it hits like an absolute truck. So I don't think you're wrong for ranking it 1 by any means. It's a house. I dropped it down to 2 because the thing it does best that I've ever seen it do best, it can't do as well as an Excalibur specifically.
being sneaky.
But I don't think you're wrong to say it's a 1. Does anybody else want to throw any rankings on here or any other comments?
To me, it's strong enough. I have to actively think of reasons to not use it quite often.
Okay, yeah, that's a very fair point. It's a crazy strong card, even if you see it coming. All right, though, let's throw that ranking up there, though, and move on to the next. It was 2. It was a 2. Which hold on one sec. sorry. I like Embercleave. We've got it in 2. 2 is filling up quite nicely. 1 looking a little lonely. Wonder when we're gonna get our next 1 card. But for now we have literal Excalibur. 3, 2, 1. 3's and I see 3, 3, 3, 3. I see 2, 4. All right, so I have this at a 4. It's not a 3 because 1, I don't love that it's Excalibur. I just don't like that they did that. 2, it costs way too much.
Bullshit.
And then the last thing, equip legendary creatures. Really the only way to equip it, right? There doesn't have its second thing. All right. I know it reduces. I know it has the cost reduction, but I just don't think it's very good. I think there are better, like functionally better cards than it for adding no color identity.
There are ways to animate it and fling it and auto-equip it. And if you do have a good legendary or ring bearer that works with it, being able to get 10 power through with vigilance every turn is nasty. I've almost stolen a game with my shoddy version of my deck.
It does sort of seem like the type of card though, like where if you're building it more of like to see if you can than because it's like the best card to build with. Like it's a challenge. It's a fun challenge to build this deck. There are ways to do it, and I don't think it's. I'm like working this out in my head. I don't think it's actively terrible. Maybe I should bump it up from 4 to 3.
The reason that I put it at 4 is the fact that it's good. It can end games. Once it hits the field, it shifts the dynamic of the table in a real way. Problem is, one of the greatest things about the Pendragon format is how much creative freedom you have, and this card actively steals your freedom away. It locks you into a legendary creature in the command zone that you're going to be pairing it with for the most part, and the legendary common creatures are not good.
Really bad.
They're functional. They're not good. Most of them are vanilla.
I'll give you this. We definitely just got this card definitely just got better because we added a bunch of those legendary commons recently, right? The Rules Roundtable Committee just voted to add a bunch of them.
There are
Been there for a little bit.
they've been there for a bit.
Oh, I thought the
Yeah,
what was the ad? It doesn't matter, right?
Arena.
It was the downshift from MTGO.
Arena Commons.
Yeah.
So the MTGO was actually about almost a year ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe,
Wow.
if
Very
not
close.
6 months.
And
all right.
then
Well,
the
we're quibbling over.
Yeah, it's
a
very
pretty bad
situational.
card right now.
I'm teetering down on
Yeah.
the 3-4 slope. Yeah.
Yeah, let's throw it at 3 for now. Let's be nice to it, I guess. give it its every dog has its day sort of deal. Once these tiers start filling up with cards, I'm sure we'll be much meaner and be like, nah, I don't want to fit that in there. Move it down to 4. But for now. All right. Next up, no comment. I don't think this is a good card. And I happen to know that one of you really likes this card. So I'm trying, and I may have described this card as trash before I knew you liked it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Do we want to show where we're putting it? 3, 2, 1. All right, that's not as far apart as I thought we would be. Amanda, why do you love this card?
All right. Here's the thing. Does this probably belong at a 3? Sure. However, I do think that people are underestimating it. Its casting cost is incredibly cheap. You're adding black to your deck just by playing it. It's giving a solid buff to power and a very useful evasive keyword. Anytime you swing with your creature, you are forcing the sacrifice of an opponent's creature. That's consistent and reusable removal. If this didn't give decent evasion, I'd rank it at a 3, no questions. I say 2 personally because of that menace.
Nice.
It reduces the risk that you take when you swing away to force a sacrifice. I paired this with a morbid creature. It's nasty. It's really nasty. I think this thing is a solid 2, but I would concede. Because, whatever.
You make a good valid point. Looking at it, it's like this the removal
and it's creature generation.
Yeah, I was like,
it makes zombies.
It has so many.
Yeah,
it has so many different pieces that are moving with it.
Yeah,
and it's got so many modes that are being tapped here.
I
really think that it's far more versatile than some folks will look at it and see it, because that you cannot be underestimated. That menace is great in the format anyway, and then the fact that you're going to force somebody to sack something, I would definitely say it's solid too.
Given the situation, 100%. Like, I didn't think of it that way, and then I was like, "Well, you could do this, 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 this." And I was like, "Oh, this is a very solid Excalibur." Yeah.
Coach, I've changed 2 minds here, Coach, on this call. Hey, you're a rock. You're like, nah, I ain't budging. Come on.
My problem is the cost. I think it's a mid-range card, not an aggro card, and requires a specific kind of commander, which would be something that is cheap enough because of how much you have to pay. 6 just to get it out and equip, and it doesn't auto-equip. So I think that it needs to be a specific kind of commander. Can be very good, but it's still a very specific kind of commander. So if somebody's looking at this list and thinking, okay, which are the ones that I need to get if I want to be able to build any common in my collection, I think this is a little too specific for that.
All right, so here's why.
Does that black?
Here's why I ranked it where I ranked it. Wand of Orcus is just better. Straight up.
True.
That's the only reason. Wand of Orcus is a better card. They both give black color identity, and that's it. That's the only reason.
I
This is
don't
a
think
good
there's a
card.
reason to
This is a
compare the
good
two.
card. I just think there's
It's
a better one.
solid. I like.
Yeah.
My eyes were open once I realized what it could be paired with, like in my head,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh yeah."
I'll move. I'll move it up
I
to
just
2.
never played with it. I guess.
I'm
Yeah.
good with that.
I was in
Yeah.
2.5 and then just easily talked up to 2. So, but I also have 2 different tech builds with
All
this,
right.
and know how strong
Throw
it
it
can
in a
be
2.
and how easy
It
it is to
really
go
makes
up.
me think about, purchasing one. It does because I don't have one, and I was like, well, it's very solid.
All right, let's go to the next card then. We've got a consensus too. The next is Glandring.
Mhm.
Glandring is 3, 2, 1. Oh my. Okay. Draco. Why is it a 1?
Generically, most of the decks that you're going to be playing are going to have some form of instant and sorcery. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that you're going to have this and just load it up through the game to get a buff that will keep getting stronger as longer the game goes. The free spell
Absolutely.
on combat damage is nothing to actually trifle with, especially when you put this onto a commander like I have that has massive evasion and then put first strike onto it and make it huge as it is.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So
chat.
many great
I need
colors
to
to
be
pair it
honest with you
with.
all.
Yeah.
Is it spells are evil? Spell slingers are the bad guy, and I just can't endorse it. I
I
can't.
don't play it. I don't play in Is It. I play it in Grixis.
That is it with extra steps.
Listen.
That is it with a morally dubious thumb on the throttle or whatever, you know?
We rejoice for
So,
them
I don't know
Grixis
what
being
you're talking
girls.
about. Don't look at me like that, dog.
So.
So when I kill Zoe next time, it's not because of game memory with the Grixis Glamdring deck. Got it.
I welcome the challenge. Do you have any idea how many Is It and Grixis decks I have lost to in my lifetime? There is a reason I hate them. Anyway, it's a strong effect. It's a strong effect, and I despise it. That's
If you
The
show
engine
two
starts
people,
and just goes.
if you show people two images, one is the board of a Storm player, and the other is the board of a player with 999 life. Which picture do you think will trigger people more?
I
Hmm.
know what triggers me more.
I think we've seen this within the last few days.
Did I win? I lost that one. No.
Well, Storm player.
good
let me tell
reason.
you.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
All right.
I played a lot of Storm, so it's just
We
I
put
see
it
it
in one,
starting
right?
early
It was
and
one?
going.
Or was it 2? Tied. Oh, it was tied. I am removing myself from the vote because I cannot be unbiased for this one. So I believe that puts us at 1.
I think one won it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. I guess.
Fine.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I am biased. I love self-player strategies, and I still put it at 2.
I just seen
Also,
crazy
it
builds and
wants
like
to
I'm
be.
Storm player. So
It wants to be, is it? It does. You all know it does. Downvoting the stream.
gotta snipe disco.
Getting Pendragon. All right. Next one is Godsend. Godsend is that I don't even remember what this card does. I remember when I first looked at this card and I was like, I think it's just a worse Caduceus staff.
I think they have no reason being compared to each other.
No, I mean
Yeah,
the
they're-
artwork. Sorry, when I look at the artwork.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The cards
Totally
themselves don't do anything similarly. 3, 2, 1. 2s and 3s, 2s and 3s, 2s and 3s. I'm not super strong about it. I think white is a really good color identity, so I bumped it up a bit. But I don't think you're wrong for saying 3. I think it's right around that spot.
think it's very situational card. You build around it. It does do the thing. Not saying it's a bad card. It's an incredible card, but it has to be in that situation. So that's what makes it hard for me.
There are some situations where this is absolutely nasty. It could even be considered player removal in the right situation, because imagine you put that against somebody who's playing the rabbit deck.
Hair apparent. Yeah.
Make them block with the rabbit, and now they can't cast any.
It's pretty brutal.
Has happened.
That is pretty brutal. That's funny.
Is worth noting that it doesn't work well against opposing Arthurs, because if it's not exiled with Godsend, then
yeah, they can just move it to the command zone, right?
So
yeah,
would that make it hairless apparent?
I guess it
I just
would.
made your deck bald.
All right. Let's not hang out on this Godsend for too long. Throw that into 2 where we put it. Move on to this next one, because we're dragging. All right. Next up, what do we got?
Sword of the Realm.
Ooh.
Well, I guess it's Halvar.
I don't know if we went in that order or not. I don't remember. Oh, it is.
Mhm.
Sword of the Realm. This is one of my favorite cards, not power-wise, but just it's fun. 3, 2, 1. 3, Grubble. 1, 2, 2. All right, Grubble. Why are you different from everybody else?
Which is funny, because this is absolutely one of my favorites. I love this card so much. To be absolutely transparent, Sword of the Realms is actually one of the reasons that Pendragon got made. It was the equipment that was like, I really want to have this in the. But I mean, it's 2 to cast, 2 to equip. And then it gives something, +2 in vigilance. And whenever a equipped creature dies, return it to its owner's hand. It's great for looping certain things, but it definitely does need some workarounds. And at the common level, it's really hard to get those loops going with this card, because it goes to hand, not to battlefield. If it went to battlefield, this would jump right up to a 1 for me.
This would be insane if it went to battlefield.
But because you have to then re-equip it each time, you're spending that extra 2 to constantly re-equip this, and it gets expensive very fast. So it's a fun card. It is a blast to play. Don't get me wrong, but to me it doesn't feel like a tier 1 or 2 card.
You'd be surprised how disruptive it is when things go to your hand.
True. Yes. True. Yes. Yes. No offense there, J-Ro.
That's why I love Unsummon. It's really disruptive.
Okay.
Even if people are not using Sword of the Realms for the type of bullshit that I get up to personally, I still would rank it at 1. Reusable ETB effects over and over and over and over again upon the death of your creature. Incredibly potent in Pendragon.
Oh, yeah. ETBs are just...
However, what seals it even more for me is that you can think outside the box with it too and do some really creative things. For example, I load my deck up with a bunch of ETB creatures that are good on their own, and then put this in the command zone with a mutate creature. And then I meld them all together into a pile, and when it dies, I get all those ETB effects back in my hand all at once.
Oh, I love that. I'm moving that up to 2. Just because you put mutate. Just because mutate did it for me.
I do things like Spore Frog, personally, Caustic Caterpillar. There's really mean things to do to people. I know everybody here loves Spore Frog, right? Chad? No.
I do. It's just the
correct.
Things you can
Draco,
correct. I keep drawing it against you. I don't know how that keeps happening.
The things you can put with it, the ETB effects, It is so powerful. And like for me, mono black. Just putting was one of the strongest colors in Pauper Commander with all its effects and stuff that it has. It's just like it makes it so hard. Like I see it comp tier. Like I
Yeah.
seen things that it does, and I'm like, listen, this card is not to be trifled with.
Just to keep you from having to recast your commander, it it locks commander tax at 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I
True.
like it the most.
Very true.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I
You
use
can
this in
evaporate
my
commander tax from your Pendragon session with
Yep.
this in the command zone.
I use this with Marauding Blight Priest as my probably strongest or second strongest Sea Dragon deck. um,
It wasn't
mainly
another.
to
Let me
get out
call it.
blight. Yeah, there was. I remember that. Uh, can we move this to 2, or was it? It was 2, right? It was 4 2s and a 1. Let's put it
Yeah.
into 2. And try and keep this moving along. Next up, we have Hammer of Nizan, which a lot of people have been talking about. I would like us to 3, 2, 1, 1, 3, 2, 2, 3. Okay. That's average wise. That is a 2. So let's have the 2s explain why they put it there. Grubble first.
It it's generically good.
Yeah.
It just goes with so many things, and the fact that you can run um all of the equipments, all of the basic equipments and stuff, which even the basic equipments can be very good. You can just start chucking things onto a commander and Voltron it up, no problem. Um, and your creature is going to have indestructible, which is extremely hard to deal with in this format, and unless you exile it, you're gonna have some trouble with it. So to me, it's definitely a solid 2.
I think you just hit every point. The 4 and the 4 it does make it difficult for me to put it at 1, but it's solid. It's a
It
solid
does
card.
auto equip itself, by the way.
Yeah,
It does.
and that's the thing is it auto equips, and that's what makes it move me from a 3 to a 2.
Okay, I'll say why I have it at a 3 is because it's expensive and it doesn't give color identity, and I think those two things are really, really important in Pendragon. I think one of the main reasons I play this format, or not really one of the main reasons I play this format, one of the main things I like about this format is that you can add color identity to a lot of common creatures, and not having that is enough for me to never put it at. It's very, very hard for me to put a colorless at 1. It needs to be really, really either cheap or have an effect that is going to, like on its own, warp the format. And I'm just not super high on individual creatures in this format. I don't think there's anything that you're going to give Indestructible to that's really going to warp the board that much. We don't have any of the. There's no Gristlebrand or anything like that in this format. There's a Mask of Gristlebrand, but there is no Gristlebrand. So like, Indestructible is good. I don't want to take away from it. I'm just I
Weren't
don't
people
see it
talking
as
about the
being.
rat earlier?
Yeah, this is good with Crypt Rat, but again,
Mhm.
this is outclassed by Caduceus with Crypt Rat just because of the lifelink,
Mm,
in my
I
opinion.
don't know. I mean, a
That's
board
true.
wipe that never dies.
Is good for sure.
Mhm.
I don't want to take anything away from it. I did.
That's why
The
it's like it's
soft lock.
solid.
I'm like on the fence between 2 and 3. So like, I don't think it's a bad card.
Moved me to 2 for it.
Yeah,
I was like,
I can pretty. I'll say 2. You've convinced me. I don't think it'll. It's hard for me to say it's a 1 though. And since we were already consensus on 2, is there anybody else that wants to say anything about this card? All right, let's head over to the next one and put that at 2. All right, this is a fun one. Hand of Vecna. 3, 2, 1. Threes and 4s is what I expect. Yeah, 3s and 4s. It equips for free. It can.
Kinda.
Yeah, kind of.
Not exactly free. Not exactly free.
It equips for 0 mana. Well, it can.
So you
I
had
guess.
that before, right?
Isn't this one the one where you can pay 1 to equip it for each in your hand, right?
Yeah.
Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah.
It's.
You had this at 4, right?
I had it at 4. I've changed my rankings a bunch. Since then, I've looked at them and listened to you all, and I read Katie's, which
Mhm.
had a pretty strong impact on how I thought of them. And I upped this from 4 to 3, but I could see it at 4.
Yeah.
I'd bring it back down to a 4. I was thinking about it because a lot of the cards that increase hand size are not in Pendragon.
I think it's
Yeah.
it's hard for me to like.
I don't pay attention to it for, which I had it as a 3, but I'm not paying attention to it for its hand size parts. Like, you're going to play this in something you're just wanting to draw cards generically, and then being able to pay the life on top of that. Like, one of my favorite things to pair this with is a lifelink creature. All the life that I'm going to be paying is just going to be
Yeah.
bonus when I'm swinging in with it.
It has amazing flavor. But like
Yes.
I've not seen a situation that can blow me out of the water to move it up to a 3.
It also, as Mab in chat said, makes you not want to play cards in your hand, and playing cards is good. Like it wants you to keep a high number of cards in your hand.
This is where if you build around it, most of your cards should cantrip,
Yeah,
like playing
Yeah, I was
Repulse
just gonna
instead
say
of Unsummons.
cantrips. Mhm.
I guess. I just don't ever see that being better than a medium deck.
My argument for this being a 4 is that its most interesting ability costs you life.
Yeah.
Because other than that, all this thing does is give plus X plus X. It's just a generic bonus to power and toughness. And with how many legendary equipments have like game-changing
that's a good point.
effects that warp everything, Hand of Vecna will never do anything more than just make a creature
Be large,
big
yeah.
and maybe cost you some of your life.
Also,
And
it has a
that
cap
doesn't
on how
move
big it can get, really, as someone
right.
mentioned.
It does.
That's what. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I love the flavor. I think it's really amazing. But
It's
Yeah.
cool.
So
yeah,
It's cool.
I'd love
I
to
just
see
don't know if what
Alpha
it does
Stage.
is cool.
get us some
Right.
decks. Get us some decks.
Let's throw that at 3 then, and we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Our first of Cauldra. 3, 2, 1. This is a 4, right? Everybody think this is a 4? We've got 1 3, 2 3s. I think this is a 4 because it can't do all the things it says it wants to do on the card, and the stuff it gives you is just like 5 colorless mana is a lot for all of that, and that's basically why it's fundamentally doesn't do all of its stuff, and there's just better.
I think there's a lot you can equip it to, and haste in the command zone can be important. First strike and trample are a nasty combination, and so I think if you can put it with the right thing, it's very good, as opposed to putting it with the right thing, and even then it's only mediocre.
Yeah.
So I would actually say like it's better than Hand of Vecna because Hand of Vecna gives a generic boost that can't ever get over a certain point. It only boosts at a certain time. Helma Cauldra gives 3 very useful keywords that all work well with each other and work well with fairly common ability in Death Touch.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, throw it on a death touch creature, and you've got a problem.
Yeah. So it can be useful. I'll give you 3. I'll give you 3. Is anybody strongly for 4? All right, let's throw this one at 3 and move on to a more interesting card. I'm curious about this one. This is Helm of the Host. Helm of the Host is pretty widely infamous in Commander. because it can do some flashy stuff. So let's do a 3, 2, 1. Twos and threes. It costs so much mana. It costs so much mana to do. Every time I play this card, I'm like, this card is so cool. I'm gonna do something. No, I'm never. I'm dead. I'm dead before I get to do anything. It's why I got into the format. It's. Is it 8 or 9? It costs 5 to equip. Yeah, that's exactly. I didn't know that because I've never gotten to I've always died before I've gotten to equip this. But that being said, the stuff it can do, like anything with devotion, Grey Merchant of Asphodel, any of the like a spore frog, you're just like, what if nobody ever gets combat damage ever again?
Spore frog,
It's
I got a
been
feeling your whole
84
family's going
years.
down.
It's solid because there's so many
Burn my
different
house
things you
down.
can pair with it. It's a ham sandwich. It really is. You can,
Yeah.
it's solid to me. It's a solid
It
card.
does everything. It does everything you want. It's a 1 or a 2. Sorry,
Two.
it's a 2 or a 3. It costs a lot.
To me, it is a strategy
high.
by
Yeah.
itself.
The
Yeah.
highs. I don't think anybody's
Mhm.
gonna be like, its highs are bad. When this thing hits high, it's just like the most dopamine you can possibly get in Magic. It feels so good.
To me, it turns your deck into a 2-card combination.
Yeah.
And then the rest of your deck is just about getting to enough mana.
Mm-hmm. But it does put a huge target on your back just having it in the command zone. Everybody knows what it does and is going to be like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, to me, it's basically Godo. If you're looking into like Sea Pendragon or Sea Dragon, it's basically Godo.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that is the halfway mark of we're about at the halfway mark, and we're almost at where I thought this stream was going to be ending. How is everybody doing?
I'm
Great.
doing fine.
I'm great.
Great.
I got drinks right beside me.
Yeah, I just gotta go use the restroom, but other than that, yeah, great.
All right, let's do a quick little 5. We'll do a be right back, and then we will be right back, and we'll come back and we'll finish them up.
Cauldron Complete is 23.
Welcome back. We are here ranking the rest of the Excaliburs. We're starting with Cauldron Complete. We're a little past halfway, and Cauldron Complete is one of the ones that I just built, actually. Since ranking this, I have built this card, and I think it's a little bit better than when I first ranked it. I think I had it at a 3 originally, and I think I want to bump it up to a 3, 2, 1, 2. Oh, a lot of consensus. I love that. I bumped this up to a 2. I paired it with a Wall of Glare, so which can block any number of creatures. So if you give it indestructible, it says you can't attack me. And if you do, 5 of your creatures are getting exiled as well. It's pretty funny. So there's
You're a
definitely
monster.
some stuff you can do with it that's kind of silly.
It's solid, yeah.
But it's also
This is what I love about this format.
So I was excited to get this one going. Real quick, I want to hear J-Ro say why 3 and not 2 for him. You didn't say 3? You said 2?
Draco
Somebody
said
said
three.
who was it? Oh, Draco said it. Sorry. I knew I had it. I just wanted you to. Put them next to each other.
Mostly
Just kidding.
on that was casting cost. I
Casting
think.
cost, yeah, it's expensive for sure.
Casting cost, color identity, and this is one of the few times I took that into consideration.
Yeah. All right. Let's put it at 2 and move on to the next one, which is going to be Conda's Banner. Conda's Banner is another one of these legendary is important, right?
Yep.
Let's do a 3, 2, 1. Yeah. All right. Everybody but Grubble says it's a 4. Grubble, real quick. We don't need to waste any time on this card.
Yeah, no,
Why is it
it's
slightly better than terrible?
Just because if you're able to drop it onto something, especially if you're running color with creature type, if you're running a typal deck, that double buff could get out of hand very quickly, but it's extremely niche. I wouldn't mind going down to a 4. I was wavering between the both,
Yeah.
but
It's
I see that it could.
I could have gone up to a 3, I guess, but yeah, I know what you're saying. All right,
Yeah.
let's not waste any time on this one and just go to the next one. Yeah, less good Dragon Throne, exactly. There's just better card than it. All right, I feel like this is going to be our perhaps an argumentative card because I have this card really low, and I told someone I had it really low, and they were like, "You're crazy." Lost Jitta. 3, 2, 1. 2, 1, 3, and a 2. Okay. I'll defend mine because I've already had to defend it once and I know what I'm going to say. It's just not as good as Jitta. It's just not as good as Jitta. That's the only reason I have it where it is. Jitta is either the best or the second best, in my opinion, in the entire format. Spoiler alert. This is a pale comparison. It's cheaper, I guess, but it's also worse, so... all right. Somebody wants to say something, I'm sure. Let's do Jero first, and then Alex.
To me, you don't really have to build around it for it to be good, although you can build around it and make it good. So, yeah, pretty much any creature is solid outside of something with Defender.
Yeah.
If it's getting in with any decent regularity, then it's solid. Works with counter strategies, works with land enchantments, which is one of the better forms of ramp in the format, because land destruction is not something that people will commonly play, just in general. So, yeah, it needs very little work to be good and works in a variety of different strategies.
Absolutely. Alex?
So, quick
100%.
question.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
Drake first. What's your question?
Is this the same rank to you if you were not comparing it to Umezawa's GT?
No, absolutely not.
Then what is it without being a less good GT?
Probably 1.
Okay.
Straight up, the only reason I have it lower is because
So
there's a better one.
that's why I like both arguments. I agree with J-Ro. It is solid. It is a solid card. But being the GT at home makes it go down a notch for me. GTA is much better, but like it's so solid. It's such a like you put it with something and it goes. It's going to do what your deck is designed to do. So I think it's solid.
It's very strong. Why would I pick this over GTA or Jitta?
Because they have 3 different abilities to each other.
Yeah.
Like you are not comparing them correctly, and sorry for me saying this. I don't.
You are not disrespecting me. I like being called wrong.
It's like Umezawa's GT when you're focusing on it is +2/+2, which is a creature buff. A -1/-1 for removal and then life gain. Whereas this one you're looking at ramp, evasion, small creature buff that's permanent, not just the end of turn. Whereas 3 different abilities and you're comparing it to the other GT, which is what's knocking it down for you.
Yes. You're right on every single thing you said. I don't need to challenge any of that. I very well might be sleeping on this card. I did evaluate it with GTA in mind, but also have never used this card. because I've always picked Jita. So maybe I should try it. I'm willing to definitely give that a shot.
I'm convinced to bump this from
challenge.
3 to 2, based on the arguments.
Yeah, like it's where I'm at. It's solid. It's 100% solid.
Man, I was just trying to
it
talk people
teeters
up
to me
there, too.
on one. Like it almost teeters me on one, but it's like
the versatility alone it's better than a lot of the other common colorless equipment, or not common, but you know what I mean, like colorless. All right, let's put it at 2. Move on to the next one, and I will eat some crow and give that a shot, because I definitely was just like, this is a worse card. All right, I just saw what the next card is, and I got prematurely triggered. All right, all right, all right. This is Luxior chat. I think this is going to be a consensus on this one for the first one, or no, we had one consensus. The second consensus. All right, 3, 2, 1. Does anybody not have this? Okay. So before we get into it, the reason that you're seeing a lot of ones here on kind of a weird card is because there is an infinite mana combo with this card. If you use it with Devoted Druid, it gives you infinite green mana in the command zone. It's really, really strong, and you could do it on turn 3. Grubble, then J-Ro.
Okay, so granted, this is one of the ones that we've looked at because of Devoted Druid. I mean, it is a scary, scary card with Devoted Druid. But outside of that,
Dog water.
Yeah, it can be a tier 1 deck. It's like with that pairing, but outside of it, it's not strong. And so I couldn't put it at a 1, at least in my mind, because unless we're looking at these as if they can only compete in Sea Dragon, then they go into the 1 slot. But like this just doesn't seem to fit anything else besides that, so I couldn't put it at a 1. It's
totally
definitely strong
argument.
with that connection.
Is this the same thing?
It's a great argument. I mean,
similar, although I do think that it works well with counters-based strategies. So it can find something of a home with something like, say, a Johnny's Pride Mate.
If they print a common Planeswalker, Mab, no. Mab just said this will be better when they print a common Planeswalker.
They did print a way to make a common Planeswalker.
They sure did. All right, let's throw this one in a 1 for now and move on to the next one and try and keep this moving along. What do we got coming up?
Oh boy.
Oh. Mask of Gristlebrand. 3, 2, 1. Y'all are nuts. This is the best card in the format.
and I'm with you. I freaking love this card. Like the more and more I play, I love it. But I want to see some comp decks and want to see some more data. I love it. I could put it about in anything. It's a ham sandwich. It really is.
Everything. And it gives you access to black. The card draw and the lifelink and the flying. Yeah, all right, Mab. Yeah, I'm owning it. Lifelink is good. Gaining life is really good in this format. It is. If you put this thing on an Essence Warden, you can gain life twice. No, that's not good though. Who else had this at a 2? Grubble? Grubble, why is this a 2 and not a 1? And then Amanda.
This one, it's I don't know. It's tough.
Very valid.
I just don't see it like as. It doesn't feel like a 1 because it's not generically perfect. I mean, it does really good things. It draws a lot of cards. It gives you that, the life link and everything, but it's still got some build arounds that it's got to have.
See, my problem is that it doesn't draw a lot of cards unless you specifically build it to do that. You need to be able to control when the thing dies.
And that's what bumps it to a 2 from a 1 for you.
Yeah,
I can see that.
that you don't get that benefit out of it, and also because its abilities are kind of they don't really work well together, because giving it flying and lifelink works if it already has a high power, wants to have a high power to draw a lot of cards, but creatures that have internal sacrifice effects usually do not have high power, which means that you're giving up your ability to control when you draw those cards. And sometimes you'll even have to target it with your own removal, which really feels bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Or run some sort of sack outlet, and it does put you in black. So there are some of those in there, but like, you bring up salient points. There are definitely reasons why this would not be like always usable, and therefore.
That's why, yeah.
So we had how many 1s and how many 2s? We had 2 1s,
I
2
was on
2s.
1.
2,
Oh, let's hear Amanda's argument too.
Uh, f- evasion wins games. Flying and lifelink is great.
Yeah.
This doesn't give any kind of power and toughness boost. I like that it adds black to your to your command zone. These are all positives. Card draw, fantastic. Difficult to control when you're going to, and also, for the most part, if you're drawing cards off of this card, you're giving up what's probably your most potent attacker at the same time,
Yes.
and I think that that's a major strike against it. Not major enough to bring it down lower than tier 2, but I think that's where it sits.
Okay.
I'm just conceding down to 2 because all the points are way too good.
I'm not conceding down to 2, but I am outvoted, so let's throw it on 2. And
I'm sorry. And I love
you
this
don't
card.
have to be sorry. Please stand by your rankings. You will not offend me. I am way too confident to have 5 people telling me I'm wrong actually affect whether I think I'm wrong.
My love for Cleaver,
So
it has
sorry, Erica.
that's outdone my love for Cleaver. How much I love this card.
All right, let's go to the next card. Mithril Coat. 3, 2, 1. 3 or 4, 3 or 4, 3 or 4. 4. Okay, that puts us squarely on 3. I can see it being a 4 though. Indestructible is strong, but like, it has to go on it. Not has to, but the auto equip effect it has can only go on a legendary, so you're losing some of the card. Unless you're very, very, we keep bringing this up, unless you're very nichely built for it, and we are just not have that many that are good in this format.
Yeah, that's what puts me at it. It's like, it's got to be very situational.
Any other things to add, or can I move along? On to the next one. All right. This. Why isn't it moving? Oh, there we go. This is the Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
The updated
Mjolnir.
The Mjolnir.
Not the original, which is not actually called that, which was from, we'll see later on. This is the new updated one that was made from the Assassin's Creed set. I haven't played with this card at all, even a little bit. I've not seen with it played, so this is like one of the ones that I'm purely ranking based off of vibes and reading the card, which puts me out of my element. 3, 2, 1. All right. Yeah, 2s and 3s, 2s and 3s. We got more 3s than 2s. We'll take one comment from J-Ro. Let's try and tell us why he's higher on it than the rest of us.
Direct damage is a big thing to me, and it can win the game.
Yeah.
It hits each opponent is a big deal to me.
I tend to lean on lower rankings, not higher, when I haven't played with something. So.
Same. I'm in the middle of, I'm about to finish a deck and going to test it kind of thing. I want to see it maybe be solid. I see its potential, but it's like, I'm have to get the situation to make its potential. So it's kind of right now. It's sitting at a 3. I can be
Absolutely,
almost
see it going
persuaded
up
to a 2.
Yeah.
The reason why I have it up higher is because it really doesn't matter what creature you equip it to.
Yeah.
You could equip it to pretty much anything, like a random 1/1, and it'll still be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, Reno brings up the very, very strong effect it has of being just a wall of text that no one wants to take the time to read until it's already killing them. I'm guilty of that for sure. I don't know the rest of you. Let's throw that one in 3, and let's move over to the next one and see if we we can't get some. All right, Oathkeeper, Takano's Daisho. This is a Samurai Matters equipment, right? That's this one. Eyes. 3, 2, 1. 3s and 4s, I imagine. 3s and 4s, yeah. One point I do want to bring up about this one versus a card that was mentioned earlier, Sword of the Realms, and I've been saving this since it was mentioned. This does return to field, I'm pretty sure, not to hand. So
if it's a samurai, if
there are so many of those, right, and great ones at that.
There's
or
some
changeling,
ones.
technically.
Yeah, or changeling.
Yep.
There actually is one decent one, if I remember correctly, that you could do it with. Maybe one that destroys like equipments, but not. It's not good enough for us to take any time.
It's very situational. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to build a
Play it with
samurai
the-
deck? Maybe don't build this because like it almost not any colors, and there's like 5 different colors of samurais that you need to build. But I don't even know why you would pick this in a samurai deck.
I put it in a monocolor deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aki Ronin.
Look at it.
It's
Let's hear from Bob.
One of the things that I like most about this format,
I built this.
I'd argue against how powerful in general this card is. That doesn't mean it can't dance. It can get there. Mab runs it. That deck is sick. Really sick.
If Mab is saying I built this and it's good, I believe her, and I believe.
Of course.
But like.
But it's incredibly narrow, and
Yeah.
it takes away so much of what makes the format great. I made that comment earlier, but this steals your creativity. If you want to get the most out of this card,
you're stuck.
You're putting a samurai in the command zone with it, and there ain't.
That's all you're doing.
You probably count on one hand the amount of samurais that are good in this format. It's low. It's a low number.
Good call, Drake. Good one. All right, let's move to the next one. We've got this pretty squarely known. Changelings, yes, of course, also very good. All right. Next up, we have Shadow Spear. This is another one that's going to be, I think, pretty unanimous. Maybe I've been wrong every time I've said that. I'm gonna stop guessing. 3, 2, 1. Twos. Oh yeah. Okay. It's just a solid card. It's not too good. Like it's not like good enough to be like this card is so powerful, but it is like you always play it on turn 1. You always have the ability to remove a very powerful hexproof or indestructible creature, which is not easy to find. And in common, I'm not even sure you can find that outside of bounce or exile. It's a good card. Lifelink is strong. Any other comments about one of the most generically powerful cards that we've seen in a while? No. All right, let's go to the next one. We're gonna put that in 2. The okayest Bone Splitter, yes. It doesn't even give as much power as Bone Splitter.
I'm pretty sure that Shadow Spear is, although I don't know with the newest Planeswalker equipment, but I believe before that Shadow Spear was the most expensive Excalibur on the list.
Yes, you're right. It was. The new one is going to blow that out of the water because it's pre-sailing at $120 for some reason.
Yeah, ignore it until after the set comes out.
That's going to change. All right, next card. Shield of Kaldra. It is worse. Hammer. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, this is one of those ones that's just functionally outclassed by a different card in every regard. So we don't need to talk about it. Hammer is literally just better.
Deep.
The
I
only
want to
reason
go
I
on
know
the
this
record to
is
say that I did hold up a fifth finger on
Yeah.
this one.
I'll give you
This
that.
is a little shout out to one Katie Combat who could not be with us tonight, but is my sword sister on the round table here, who says that this is the only equipment one needs never consider
Yeah.
when playing Pendragon.
Yeah.
So
It's-
shout out
it's-
to Katie
it's-
Combat.
This is the
Yeah.
worst one.
Yeah.
This is the one we talked about banning with Katie just because it takes consideration away from it for anybody.
Just so people didn't
Save
waste
someone.
time.
Why is this banned?
One
So
equipment
that no
that you
one
could
wastes
have.
time building it. Yes, good.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, let's just moving right along to the next one. That doesn't bear much more talking or making fun of. The shield has had enough. All right. Next up, we got Sting. Sting's a neat card. 3, 2, 1. I could hear 3 or 2 on this one for sure. I might even be feeling bad having given that a 3 after I saw someone else playing with it. Draco, why 3?
It doesn't feel like something that can just be generically played. I mean, giving a creature essentially vigilance is what this is, but the vigilance haste thing can also be achieved with several other cards already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And you're losing your Excalibur for that.
yeah. And with this one, even though I do have the deck built and know how fun it is, like, it's just not a thing that I feel like you have to look for this card to be able to build around it.
Yeah.
It's not just something that's going to pop up generically for like every kind of deck that you want to play and build.
2, 3.
Where I disagree is where it's being called Vigilant, because it's each combat. So if you have it equipped on any tapper,
Yeah.
any tapping ability,
It is definitely one of the probably the premier like my commander taps to do stuff.
I mean, that's how I play it.
Yeah.
I have it with a card called Thundersong Trumpeter, which taps and makes a card not be able to block or attack that turn. And I still consider it something that you have to have a whole deck or a commander specifically built around this whole card to be able to make it function the best.
All right.
I have Sting paired with Zoltar Druid. It's my favorite Pendragon deck. It's Gruul. It's Gruul. It's Gruul, Ping, Burn. It's wild.
Equally disgusting.
But I had to jump through hoops to get it to do what it does. And Sting puts it over the top. But I don't. Sting's not going to be competitive. I don't think.
No.
I have it with a creature that taps to, or basically Gideon's Lawbringer, and so you can use that to set up your own attacks.
I like that.
Yeah, it's. I think it's solid if you put it in the right deck.
Let's move on to the next one. We've all pretty much agreed that that's right where it's about to be. We got the last Cauldra coming up. Sword of Cauldra. 3, 2, 1. 3s and 4s, yeah. It's fine. It's just there's a lot of better cards than it.
If you want to play it for the flavor.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Really,
if you want to play it for the flavor, you still can't because it takes 3 of them.
You can't get the whole sword.
You could have the Sword of Cauldra, though. You could be that Arthur that pulls the Cauldra sword from the stone. I mean, I could see the flavor, but that's about it for me.
Sight, Thundercat's sword, a little bit of that, I guess, maybe.
I could see
that's it. You can have a pod with all 3 of them and see who can actually assemble them.
Yeah, actually, that would be a pretty fun one. See,
that'd be awesome.
And magnetic thefts.
Magnetic
theft is only legal in this deck. This is an uncommon, I think. All right, let's not waste too much time on that one and move over to the next one. Oh, this is a good one. Sword of the Animist. 3, 2, 1. Ones and twos, a 3 on Grubble. All right, I'm gonna go Grubble and then J-Ro on this one because they're pretty far apart.
Okay, so it pretty much has the same. It's very similar to the one we saw earlier, Bitterthorn. Yeah,
Thorn,
and yeah, and it drops early. It equips pretty quickly. It's going to give you that ramp that you need. It gives you the +1/+1, but and it doesn't when you attack. That is what's really nice about it. Like I could possibly bump it to a 2 because it's when you attack it, you don't have to do damage effect. But it just doesn't feel like it does enough for me to want to rank it higher than that.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I almost went with a 3 on this one just because I think Bitterthorn is better, but I think I think they're about the same no matter where you put them. I wouldn't be mad if you put them both in 3 or if you put them both in 2. I would just want them both in the same tier. I think that's my only real comment on it. Jero, you want to
go? Major difference I see is that this is one that Commander players are likely to have already in their collection or in a deck. And so it makes it, I think this is one that really makes the format more approachable for people. Mm-hmm. And you can put it into any deck, unless your commander has Defender.
Yeah, that is a good point. Oh.
The only other thing that I would say that really bumped it up is if it was green.
Yeah, if it was green,
it should have been green.
I actually think it's better that it's not green.
If you want your podcast or your episode to speed up, do not get us ranting on the green.
That's a good point. We should avoid the fact that there are 0 green. All right, I'm done. We'll go there. So we stop.
For this one, though, I think it's better that it's not green because it allows non-green decks to ramp.
Yeah.
Yes.
I give you that.
And fixed colors. The same sort of arguments I had before, so I'm not going to rehash them.
Yeah.
Although I just kind of did.
100% ham sandwich, great card, solid, comp tier. It doesn't push me over the top. It doesn't,
Let's throw that into 2 and move on. On to the next one, like Jay-Z said. Okay. This is another one where I'm going to say this is one of the best cards in the format, if not the best card in the format. Like it's in my competition for it. Tarian Soulcleaver. I have this one at a 1. Where do you guys have it? 1, 1, 1, 2 from Grubble. All right. Before we talk about why Grubble thinks this is not a 1, I'm going to mention the deck that I built with the Brood Scale. Basking Brood Scale is a common from Modern Horizons 3. Whenever you get a +1/+1 counter on it, it makes a guy that you can sacrifice for a mana, and that is an infinite combo, just like the Devoted Druid one. It is a little bit fragiler because there are more ways to interact with it, so it is probably like 1A, 1B with the Devoted Druid deck in terms of speed and infinite mana, but the reason you're seeing this at a 1 so emphatically from me is that deck, but also without that deck, this card is just gas.
It's consistent. It's consistent. It performs. It's consistent. It's amazing. I think the card's over the top good.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to comment on it?
For me, you don't need to work to make it good.
Yeah.
It's good because of things that naturally happen over the course of the game.
It's everybody's, by the way, Chad. Not just yours. It's everybody's. Treasure dies. Oh, look, that's a +1/+1 counter.
You know what? That I forgot about that. So I'm just gonna.
Clue dies.
It's called back to Cave.
Yeah,
I forgot that it was. I forgot that it was everybody's. Yeah.
Are you running it against someone running the mirror match, and you equipped yours before they did? Guess they can't go off.
It's like the Dude Drum deck. Everybody gets a treasure, but hey, I mean, yeah.
There's so many ways of working with it. I love this card.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's a consensus number 1. Yes, we did it. I was finally right about one of them. All right, let's
Percent
head
my
over to
favorite
that next
cards.
one. I think high highs and low lows, chat. 3, 2, 1. 3 or 4? 3 or 4, right? Yeah, 3 or 4. I guess it technically makes a dragon, which is kind of cool.
Flavor
Yeah.
win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely a flavor win. I used to run this with
Yes,
Godo
yeah.
in not good but fun deck, make a dragon deck. But it's look how much it costs. It's so bad. It's like 50 mana. I'm gonna play this on turn 1,000,000,000 and then never equip it because I'm dead because I didn't run Saurian's Soul Cleaver.
That's right.
Does anybody want to say anything about this card? This card, other than dragons are cool. Dragons are cool.
Dragons are cool.
But let's throw that bad boy in tier 4 and move on to the next one.
It's not legendary, so you can populate it.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. Couple dragons. Why does this legendary dragon's tooth come from so many dragons? All right, Tenza, Godo's Maul. I gotta even remember what this one does. It's been so long. This is a card made to play with Godo, a very popular CEDH commander, because it's very inexpensive to build the CEDH deck with it, but you don't use it with Godo in that deck. Nobody uses this card, really. Ranking? 3, 2, 1. Anybody not for it? This one's not... Is this even a rare?
No.
It's an
It's uncommon.
uncommon, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
You can run mythics, chat. Why would you run an uncommon?
Yeah, it's. I think it's all consensus 4.
Yeah.
It's not. It's doesn't really.
It's a bad card. It's power crept is what it is.
Deep.
All right, next card. All right. Here's another
Skipping
one that's
that
going to be pretty easy to rank for us, I think, on the opposite side. Key to the Vault. All right, 3, 2, and 1. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1. All right. This is the one that I said your double strike commander. This is what you should be running with it. Who was it? Randy that was running that we played with.
Yes. Yes.
That was
Katie.
horrifying.
Yeah.
With you double strike with it and you get 2 free casts off the top of your deck, and then just throw out giant dudes. It was very cool. It felt kind of like the Aether Spark a little bit in terms of how fast it was able to get some really big.
It's
stuff
consistent.
out.
The decks I've seen with it performs. The decks I see in testing, they look like they would be solid. I think the car has comp potential depending on the setting and how the meta flows. It's good. It's really good.
Cheating mana out is a strong effect, not something you're going to see in a pauper format.
That's also
really
why.
Any other comments on what I consider to be one of the top cards?
Absolute,
I didn't catch that. Grubble.
But we did seem to skip the Aether Spark
because
it
is going to be last. It is going to be last.
Okay, gotcha. I was just going by alphabetical, so I just wanted.
Yeah, they were doing alphabetical with the Aether Spark last because
gotcha.
It's cool, and you have to wait around and see.
Yes, wunderbar.
Also had this one at 2.
2. All right. Why not 1?
It takes work. Like, yes, it's generically good, which is all the tier 1, tier 2s to me, but it does take work, and making the evasion happen is something that you... Yeah. Like, yes, you can pair it with evasive commanders or the double striking commanders and things like that, but it still has to deal damage to a player to be able to get its effect running.
So the longer you go into a game and as people get eliminated, it's going to get worse too. Yeah. Okay.
And you'd be amazed at like even if you look,
but I still think it's good.
there's big creatures, but there's not as many big beaters as you might think that you're dropping out with it. Like,
Yeah.
there's like even at the top end of the mana value, you're not running into some of
There's no Ulamog the
the
Defiler
crushing.
in this format.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there are some
Ulamog's Crusher.
The
yeah,
Crusher.
Ulamog's Crusher.
Razor,
Yeah,
I think is
It's half Razor, yeah.
No.
I think it's a 1 for me because even if you're not consistently dropping bomb after bomb after bomb, the biggest cards in the format, anytime you hit with this, what you are doing is casting free spells over and over and over and
even
over
if they're
again.
cheap, it's
And
good they're free.
It's consistent. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You get
that
cantrips, you get
Very good.
it casts free spells. That alone. I specifically was like, I was looking at all the creatures when I was building this, and I was like, okay, there are so many good choices.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to make one of them.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
I'm going to do a meme deck. This is going to be based on a goofy TikTok video I made. It still hammers nails. Once it gets rolling, nothing stops it. And the fact that I went for a meme build with it, and it's still one of my most powerful decks is, I think, a testament to Key to the Vault.
That's fun. That's good.
To me, I have it high because it adds blue, and it adds something that decks that add blue really need. So when people say something like Temur is wet gruel, this is wet gruel to me.
Yeah, I like that. I like that phrasing.
Fine.
All right. We did end up with this one in 1, so we'll go to the next one.
Fine.
Which is the next blue. The reality chip, the next blue Excalibur. Sorry, I lost the word for a second. This is the one that I was mentioning can deal commander damage because it's a creature if you buff it.
Yes.
I think in terms of, well, let's do this first. 3, 2, 1. 2s and 1s. Yeah, 2s and 1s. In terms of the blue Excaliburs, I like this one better because it provides its access on a more easy to get basis. It's easier to get that card advantage from it, even though you do have to pay for the spells, and it never stops giving it. So it's not just necessarily 1 per turn. It's until you run out of cards off the top or mana. Also, adding blue color identity is just really good. Anybody else like to comment?
It's a blocker with a big butt.
Yeah, that's
You'd be surprised how handy that is. Even if you're, say, a Spellslinger deck, you still need early blockers to avoid taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, also it's an equipment jellyfish, which sounds cool.
I'll give it that.
All right. What? I think this one. Can I get the numbers again? It was 2s and 1s, right? But mostly. Oh, we're split. Anybody feel like crossing over?
I gotta have more data on it. I can't cross over. I'm just like, if I was going to pick the two, out of the Key to the Vault or the jellyfish, I'm going to pick the Key to the Vault every single time. Yeah.
I'm sitting here looking at chat. I was also sitting here looking at chat on reality chip.
100% love the card.
Interestingly enough, I dropped the key before the chip.
I think I might too, but they're so good. They're both so good. I think I'm not going to quibble over one of them being in 1 and one of them being in 2. I think they both have their place in the meta, and if you build around them, they can both be very, very strong decks. Let's go over to the next one.
We don't have to talk about this one.
The next one is the Reaver Cleaver.
Let's go.
Just give that 3, 2, 1. Does anybody not have it at a 1?
No.
Mana is really good, and being able to make a lot of treasures is cracked. I hate this card, but I love this card.
I know. And I still think Grizzle ran over it. And I love this card.
It gives
It's
you
so
it gives you
better.
it gives you a color, and it's generically good with anything you put it with. Like
Anything.
yeah, anything. Like even if you're playing green, I mean it's probably the weakest if you're playing green, but it
Green
just
has
makes it.
big
It just
guys though.
no,
It
I know
has
that's
to
what I'm saying.
be-
It's like
the
you can
weakest
ramp
thing
in
you
green,
can
but like
do. Yeah, no, I'm agreeing.
yeah,
Get mono
Whatever.
black, and you get mono black access to that ramp. Oh, it's just so.
yeah.
It's a chef kiss. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Glimmer
And yeah, you run it with black and Rakdos, and you just run over the board. It's just it gets gross.
It has to be something like this. Like you have to actively search for how to make it not
Yeah.
be good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll throw that at a 1. Move on to the next one. That doesn't
100%.
need a lot of discussion. But this next one's kind of interesting because I've seen people are pretty split on it. This is the Spear of
Ooh.
Leonidas. One interesting thing I learned about the Spear of Leonidas is that double strike is given until end of turn. So if you attack with it, get the double strike, and then someone destroys the spear, it still has double strike.
Mhm.
Let's give this one a ranking. 3, 2, 1. I had this at a 3 originally, I believe, but I bumped it up to a 2 after facing it twice. And both time I faced it, it was... I don't know if it won either. No, I think it won one of them and lost one of them, and it worked. It's a good card. I don't know if it's a great card. It's not Reaver Cleaver competitive, but good. Who has seen this? Anybody else? In game?
I've seen this in action.
Yeah, I've seen it in action. It's
What did
pretty
you think
good.
about it? Bug, let's go to you.
This was I built around Spear of Leonidas for one of the Pendragon decks that I took to MagicCon Vegas to demo the format for people, and it's this card's wild and very slept on. It's not
Yeah.
tier 1 competitive.
It's ham
But
sandwich.
It's a solidly a 2. Worst case scenario with this card, whatever you put in the command zone with it is getting double strike turn after turn after turn, and that's consistent, excellent damage. The fact that it can make a blocker or attacker out of nowhere, if that's what you need, or card draw, it draws cards, it makes creatures itself, and it provides double strike. Like, this is an Excalibur.
Yeah,
I'm bumping it up to 2.
Yeah,
and
100%. There's
Mine
a 2
was
for me.
mine was a 3 on vibes because it's one of the actual Excaliburs I haven't built on. So
It's a
Nice.
Swiss
I'll
Army
get there
knife.
too.
yeah. I'm still gonna keep it at a 1 because you
Well, I had
you
it down
are,
on 3.
You're dropping it into it's red, but it's red. Double strike is red, creating a legendary horse token. You know, crosses several color lines, but the fact that you're getting heavy card draw in red. I mean, yeah, red has a lot of looting effects, but it's double loot here. I mean, it's discard 2 cards and then draw 2 cards. So you're able to chuck a bunch of stuff into the graveyard, which can be crazy. You're able to draw cards, which is crazy. I really think that this is, to me, I think it's definitely a 1. That's just my take.
I'm waiting because I'll
Make
end
a
up building this.
competitive deck. I want to see it.
Okay, you can turn it back on. Thank you.
Make me excited. I do want to put, like, I'm teetering, like, it has so much potential. And, like, maybe I just haven't seen the right. I've seen decks played. It's just like, it comes to that point that Zoe made was Reaver Cleaver or this.
Mhm.
You know, that's what it comes down to me for when it comes to competitive.
I think
I
it's a
can't
2
compare the
right
two.
now. If you told me that, like, 2 months from now, we were going to be screaming 1 because everybody got keen on it and broke it, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm with
100%.
you. Let's throw it in 2
yeah.
for now and move on to the next one.
Yeah.
With the asterisk of that could go up for sure. This is
100%.
the next one coming up. We have the fake Mjolnir.
Meow meow.
Torolf's hammer is the backside of Torolf. uh,
Yo.
2, 1. Threes and fours, threes and fours, threes and fours. Yeah. I said 3 over 4 because at least it gives you red color identity, I guess. I don't. It's too expensive, right? Like,
Mhm.
it constantly needs red mana in
Yeah.
a format where
You've-
pips are annoying.
You've
Double
got to
red
you've got to
at
build
that.
this around it.
You have to build around it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to build around a like you've got to have a critter in the
Hard.
zone that's
Yeah.
auto equipping because then you've got access you've got access to a
It's
lightning
kind of
bolt.
cool, I guess. If
You know,
there's
yeah.
a guy that on enters auto equips to anything, not just to himself. I guess that could work a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. I don't want to run it. I don't want to build around it. That sounds like so much work when I could just run Reaver Cleaver, get the red color identity, and get a million mana.
That's right.
A reusable bolt is sort of neat, but the fact that the only way you're getting any kind of power buff is with a legendary creature, and then the only way that you're getting the bolt bonus is if you unequip it from that creature. It just seems counterproductive the whole way down.
Mhm.
I mean, I know what they were going for with the whole throw the hammer, pull it back, whatever. But that's
It's
like
cute. It's cute.
Thor doesn't have to shell out $3.50 every time he wants to pick his hammer back up. Like,
it's a toll Mjolnir.
Why?
It does also have to return itself.
It's Mjolnir as a payphone.
It's not. You know, I'd pick Mjolnir over this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the other one. I agree. I'm not picking this one pretty much ever.
Runs a Mjolnir.
Thor on the battlefield begging for quarters as people run past him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't get this hammer. It's just. It's like. Does anybody have any dimes?
I have a lightning bolt that can move it.
I think I know what's coming back. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Here's the next card.
Oh.
We can skip it. We know.
3, 2, 1. My question is there a better card in the format than this? Does anybody think there's a better card in the format, and have we talked about it yet?
Yes, Reaver Cleaver.
Reaver Cleaver?
Yeah, Reaver Cleaver. I'd pick Reaver Cleaver over it. I'd pick Terry and Soul Cleaver over it.
Pick Soul Cleaver.
Yeah.
That's Mask, maybe. I know you guys aren't as high, but this card is
love Mask.
dumb. It got banned in Modern.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, I started playing during Champions of Kamigawa, so this gets a middle finger up from me because of damage on the stack.
I also didn't own one during Champions of Kamigawa, which if you know playing it,
Right
is
here.
alright.
I played competitively back then. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't
I
that
hate
fun.
this card, but it's so freaking good.
Yeah. This is the one where I was like,
Standpoint.
when they're gonna talk about like banning a card, I think this is gonna be one of the ones that gets mentioned.
It's yeah.
God damn it, Mab.
Talked about.
It's because of it's all that coming back to life in my head as a youngster, not a youngster, but all that hate and it's like it boils, but it also it's such an amazing card, and that's what makes it.
So
I can't say
damage on the stack. I miss Steve. That's all. I miss the Steve that I used to know. He's not the same. He's never
Poor
been
Steve.
the same.
Never recover.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one because Jitta's a polarizing card. All right, this one's fun.
Good.
This is Unscythe, which is 3, 2, 1. Is anybody gonna say 1? Yeah, okay. 2, 3, yeah.
Tell me why.
I honestly, I'm not gonna fight you on the 1, but I'm curious if your reason is what I think it's gonna be. So, let me hear you say it.
Well, it depends. What's the reason you think it's going?
It has 3 colors in the color identity.
Very, very small point to me getting to 1. So the 3-color identity thing isn't the only thing to it. The +3/+3 buff per strike and creating creature tokens with Grave Hate.
All fair points. I put 2 because just because of the color identity. I've not tried the actual card out itself. It's a lot of pips, and Pendragon's
Oh.
pauper. It's hard to. I like sticking at 2 colors in this pretty much
I
exclusively.
think it's
Let
2.
me
Does the thing. It stays consistent. Gives the color. It doesn't put it up that ceiling like Uzaz did it.
Yeah.
It isn't, That's the only
I
thing
think
for me.
the fact that it can be cast and do something is gravy. This is there for the colors.
Bug, were you gonna say something? Is that you?
It's a 2 for me. It and I don't think could ever go any
You're
higher.
at 10.
This is a pauper format. Monofixing is not perfect. It's
Hard.
decent, but it ain't perfect. And the fact that there are no colorless pips in that cost, there are 4 colored pips. It's so easy to fumble.
Yeah.
It's so easy
Oh,
to
yeah.
fumble,
Yeah.
not having the right combination of lands to tap
Yeah.
to put that thing on the battlefield in the first place.
This one's
It just can't
confusing
be. It's
for
not
me.
consistent for me. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not consistent for
I
me.
could see you wanting to say this is a 1, but I could also see you saying it was a 3. Like,
I mean, I love this card. I run it with Hunter Sliver, which I know I'm sorry,
Let's go.
but because this with Hunter Sliver is disgusting. But
Shame.
I specifically chose, not just because of its ability, but chose a sliver that wouldn't get me an extra color because I didn't want to run the risk of making it more difficult to get this thing on the board in the first place.
That's when you.
Glory
Oh,
to
that's
the hive.
common.
all glory.
All glory to the hive.
All right.
The hive provides for all.
Did this end up in 2, right? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
most of them were
let's put it in
It's
2.
the
Lock it in there and
fixing
move
the-
on to the.
That's why for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The last of the currently released. We have Wand of Orcus. I love this card. Let's toss those rankings out there. 3, 2, 1. I have this as a 1. Oh, a lot of 1s and a 2. This is the Reaver Cleaver, but it makes zombie tokens instead of mana. It's not as good as the Reaver Cleaver because mana is broken in Magic, but 2/2s are really strong, and black color identity is not to be slept on. I have this as the best black go wide strategy. I think it's better than the shovel.
Yeah. Later in the game, it gets harder and harder to dig yourself back out to try to win it. It's so good.
Plus, there's
This
a
is a
lot
card-
of fun stuff you can do with it. Like
This is the card that brought me into Pendragon.
Oh, really? That's it. Nice.
Yes.
Watching Jay pilot it, put it on the top. Well, not like
Nice.
the top, but it put it in the 1 for me.
You put the bat with it. Love the bat with it.
Oh, what
No.
did you put, J-Ro?
That was actually so that was when I was going through my phase of building with level up commanders.
Oh,
Mm.
nice.
Yeah, it was nasty.
This was like Zombie Champion or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Null
Mhm.
Champion.
Well, Champion
Null Champion.
with Wand
Yep.
of Orcus.
Love that.
Yeah. Wand is the first Excalibur that I built
And I'm
around
sad
when I started
don't own one.
Pendragon.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's wild. It gives an incredibly potent keyword to all creatures of a specific type, and then it makes creatures of those type.
That type, yeah. So,
For me,
Yeah.
the thing that brought me into this format and when I first got contact with it was Champion of the Flame in this.
Oh.
Oof.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Trample Death Touch, I'm getting an army,
Yeah.
and you're not
Yeah.
stopping me.
Mm-hmm.
Nasty. I like that a lot.
Watching just J-Ro play it, I was like, this card has so much potential. I don't have one. That's why I would really sit down and try to really tinker with it. But like, I was like, wow, this could shut games down.
It's just so
This-
fast.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit to get it out there. 6, total to get it out and get it equipped. but like
Once
it hits
it is.
one time, and like the fact that you get it on attacks or blocks with the death touch, it's a huge deterrent. It's like nobody wants to run into death touch, and then you run it with anything that has trample. Disgusting. It's great. I love it.
It's also the card in that first deck that got me into the rules roundtable as well.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
History there, chat.
Yeah.
Lore. Little rules roundtable lore for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I run this with Dungeon Shade,
Yes.
which is
yes.
it flies and it fire breathes for
And it gets
one
orange, yeah.
mana.
Yep.
It's an instant army out of nowhere. Just boom. Hey, wow. Oh well, I have an army all of a sudden.
Yep.
It's
that's
so
why this
good.
was
I
a
love
one to
that
me.
deck.
It's like
Yeah.
this card is constantly just an army with it.
Let's
And
hear
it's never
Rose rebuttal.
Yeah, sure.
Interesting enough, yeah, I did have it a little bit lower at a 2, even though I'm the one that played it and when was talking about it. But
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. That deck's amazing. I was like, it does
to
what?
me, to me, it doesn't take a lot, but it does take something, as opposed to a 1, which to me would be where it doesn't take anything.
Fair.
All right. Well, that is going to bring us to the end of
Yeah.
our. Oh wait, there's one more.
Oh, there is one.
We have
There
one
is
that's
one
not
more.
out yet, chat. We have the Aether Spark, which
Before we do our rankings, I want to see
Yeah.
what chat is saying this.
yeah.
I want to see what the chat rankings are for this.
Chat, throw your numbers out there before we pull it up. We're pulling it up for you to look
Do you
at
have the
before
clip?
we
Do you
say
have the
ours.
clip?
Tell us what you think it is.
Do you have the clip?
2?
Oh,
No,
it's on-
I didn't get the clip in time, but
Drac has it. Drac has the
Oh,
clip.
Is
Dude,
it weird
it's
that this
on
doesn't have the
your
A and E together like they
Like,
usually do?
that does
Yeah.
a little weird.
Why does that bother me?
All right. We've got 1 vote for 2 in chat.
Yeah, it says
And
2.
everybody else
Where
is
are we
saying-
at for Reno?
Reno saying 2.
Okay.
I want to say I just wrote an article about this card, and I thought it was going to be a 2.
Mm-hmm.
That being said,
Same.
3, 2, 1. That's a 1, guy. Chat. This is a 1. This is
Yeah.
dumb. This card is dumb, and it's gonna do stuff. We got thrashed by it yesterday on Trivial Encounters.
Yep.
It was immediately the threat. Here's how you know it's good. It was immediately the threat, and then it spent the rest of the game being a threat while all 3 other people tried to stop it and failed one at a time. Terrifying. This is a terrifying card. I slept on it and I deep dived it.
So when I first looked at it and Drac was building it, I was like, oh, well, you just hit it. It's like a planeswalker. But once it's on something and you can't hit it, I was like, holy crap. So it's like, how good does this turn in my head? I was going like Safe for Elite. I was going like Hissing Water. It's just so good.
You're not burning this to kill it though. You're casting Oxidize, but all of the equipment's died Oxidize, so.
Yeah.
And my question is, okay, this gives you some advantage, but how do you actually win the game with it?
Sinks.
Because I played a turn 4 Rust Goliath for 10 mana.
And then we couldn't keep
10
up.
mana on turn 4. That's how.
Yep.
The general, like it's key to the vault. It felt a lot like key to the vault.
Turn 4 consistent. I was like, oh my god. There's like in this one color. There's like 5 different combinations. I looked at this card. And I was like, I can go infinite with it. Infinite death, infinite mana, infinite triggers. I was like, it's just like it changed. I was like 2. I was like, it's solid. It's great. It's actually really good. And then like when I saw that once it's equipped, you can't hit it. I was like, this is nuts.
Addendum to the key to the vault comment. It is key to the vault. It doesn't have to hit face. It only needs to hit. You can't
anything.
jump it. Yeah, it can hit anything. That is the difference.
Anything.
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 But yeah, it doesn't. So I don't think this is the best equipment by any means. I don't think it's going to get banned.
No.
People were
No.
saying like, "Oh,
No.
is this going to be the first one that gets
No.
banned?" I don't even
No.
think
No.
this is in the running
No.
for getting
No.
banned.
No.
But I do think it's going to do
It's
something in the meta. I think people will
Yeah.
play it. And
Yeah.
oh
I
yeah,
think
it's that
strong.
because it's the only card that does what it does too is gonna automatically make it something that people are going to want to play because
Yeah.
there's just nothing and it's the only way to get right as of right now way to get a planeswalker into Pendragon. So
Common Planeswalker.
it's not
No.
gonna catch a ban hand. I really don't I don't say that.
It's fine. It's good. It's a good card. It is a
Yeah.
solidly
Yeah.
good card. I thought
And
it was
Sea
going to be off
Dragon.
the border. It is not.
Yep.
It is inside the good.
It can
Yeah.
throw hands. I see it throwing hands like Sea Dragon. I see it keeping up. Do I see it top? No.
You're playing it. Yeah, you have to play it in a commander that does like a couple color identities are good with it. You played it with the Broker's Initiate, right?
It's fixture mana.
It was.
We'll see. We'll see how far the card goes. Right now, I'm thinking it's gonna be.
Fucking thing. It went wrong. Damn it.
It's tier 1 for now. This card is pre-selling at $120.
Yeah.
It's gonna drop.
To me, it's a solid $15, $20 card.
Yeah,
Solid.
I said it was a $20 card when I saw it, but
Yeah.
only because of demand, not because of power level. And now I'm thinking it's a $20 card, maybe because of power level, but I don't see it being more than a $20 card still.
I mean, Pendragon players will sleep on it if they don't look at it right. Because I did.
Yeah, it's a super solid card, but it dies to so many different types of. I think that it's not going to be as much of a threat as some people think it's going to be.
Yeah,
I promise you, Rebel, whenever I get to play this deck against you, I'm just going to make you hate it.
It's one of those things like, okay, it's like, I cast it, they sparks on the field before it can be equipped, and like, well, in response, Hero's Downfall.
Right.
And
Yeah.
That's
the
it
one-
does do a ton of removal, and that's a lot of argument for a lot of.
That's the thing. I casted, like, what was it, 3 or 4 different types?
Yep.
And it was just able to get back at me.
Here's my question. When you were playing your removal, at what point were you playing it? Were you playing
All
it when it
points.
was coming?
All points. So it was either equip, it got, and I was playing my Tarian Soul Cleaver deck. And I have a lot of interaction in the deck to try to keep.
The point that I'm thinking is like like you go in for an attack.
Yeah.
Then you declare attacker. You blow you move to combat. You blow it. You blow up the creature that it, and then you send all of your attackers at it as a planeswalker. That's where I see.
Like kill the creature and then change or assign. Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
Assign your blockers.
Yeah, we do have to see the meta's reaction to it. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So now that we've seen the card get entered, we'll see what happens in response. Well, that was our last one, guys.
Yeah.
And it is almost 1, so I do want to wrap this up. I'm not sure we're going to be raiding anybody because it looks like everybody's offline. But here's our final rankings up on the screen right there. Pretty happy with these. I'm going to make them into a more parsable list, and I would like all of you that participated, remember, I got J-Rose now, but the rest of you, please send me your final rankings so that I can make a graphic with all of ours on it that people can look through. I'm going to go through real quick. Oh, MTG Lexicon is up. Okay. Doc, can you please set up MTG Lexicon's raid? And we're gonna go raid MTG Lexicon. And guys, thank you so much for being here. Once again, my guests, Onion Bug Amanda, Coach J-Ro, Draco Lucian, Grubble, and Trivial Encounters Alex. Go follow all of them on their socials, please. We are going to be raiding in just a minute. Chat, until next time, thank you so much for being here. This was so much fun and a great first experience for my Twitch affiliate stream. So I will remember everybody that was in chat today. I will remember everybody that said hello, everybody that subscribed. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for being here with us today. Until we get here next time, why don't we just real quick? Are we going? I think we're going. Until next time, guys. Thank you so much.
Hey, can cut it to ending scene?